All right, welcome guys. Hope you're doing well. We are here for the Into the Alpha X Super Series 25th edition. I'm your caster, your friendly neighborhood caster dog, Snoopy, and here with me today is, of course, Ancontistas.
I'm glad to be here as always. Welcome everyone.
Yep, we're getting into the lobby here, or at least getting the map videos done. But before we get into that, let's take a look at our lineup. It's going to be Dream, Solar, and then Creator versus Armani in the second semifinals. Should be a good one, right?
Yeah, of course. Like we already have a little bit of a revenge possibly coming in the finals with Dream and Armani both being in the same group in GSL. As we all know, Dream got lost in the group. Armani got second, beating both Dream and Down actually in the last two matches. So Armani is looking very strong. Dream isn't looking as strong, but so the same can be said for Solar. So there's a lot these players have to show us, and I'm very glad they have their chance to do this today.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, there is a match note page for this event. It is pinned in the chat area. So if you go to the chat box, there's a pinned message. This should direct you to the match note link as well as the coupon code in which you can use to donate and contribute 50 cents for free to the overall prize pool. That code is, of course, AX176. So make sure to head on over there and enter that coupon code.
It just really takes 30 seconds of your time, and it makes a lot of a difference to the players, to everyone, to the organization. So please make sure you do that, and also make sure you make an account here on Trovo and drop a follow. We're gonna have plenty of content on this channel, and of course, every Tuesday we're gonna have our Alpha X Super Series here. So just make sure you be here next time, you get your notification, and drop a follow to be sure you're gonna be with us with all these crazy good players showing up. All right, it seems like we're close to having our full maps for this series. So it is going to be Dream versus Solar. We're gonna start it off with some TVZ action, and I want to hear a little bit of your prediction about this.
Both players I feel like are evenly matched. I wouldn't be surprised if one or the other would take the series. Dream has been kind of always like been there, like right below the tier of, I would say, the top tenors like Innovation or
Yeah, I
maybe
agree.
TY. Um, he's like climbing right there underneath. And then Solar, I think he's also in the same place, right? Because
Mhm.
when we think of the best Zerg, we don't usually think of Solar immediately. I think we kind of think of him right behind people like Dark or Rogue, and maybe even Sarah and Raynor as right now as well in the EU scene. But Solar has been here for a long time. He has a lot of experience under his belt, a lot of tournaments under his belt, and can't wait to see what kind of play he pulls out against Dream.
Yeah, I have to agree with this. Both these players really have been a little bit gatekept by those names you mentioned from being the absolute top tier players. But both of them have been like really going up and down in performance. I'd say especially Dream has had this problem for a lot of time. Like this last GSL, really didn't show up. But if I remember, like Summer GSL, like Dream of Summer GSL is absolutely top tier Terran player. He showed up insanely good. He went being, if I remember correctly, first in his group in the round of 16. So we're talking about a crazy good player. The same can be said for Solar. He's one of those players who can either go first in his group in round of 16 or even get eliminated in round of 24. Both these players can really um, vary in performance. So I'm eager to see how they will play today. And as you were saying, it's really hard to make a prediction, but I still gotta give it to Solar. Just because he's such an aggressive player that he can really um, make a best of five a dangerous um, series for anyone.
Yeah, I just agree. I will probably also give the little slight edge to Solar. But anyhow, oh, by the way, I'm not even going to pronounce it. Someone in the chat saying your mic is just a tad low.
Yeah,
So
I cannot really fix it myself.
okay.
It is up to you, man.
All right, try to, I guess,
Sorry
maybe
about that.
position your mic a little bit closer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I
Okay,
can
great.
just speak closer to my mic.
Awesome.
Hope it is better right now.
Yeah, let us know. Anyhow, let's get started with the first game.
We're on Pillars of Gold, and spawning in a bottom left hand corner as the red Zerg player. It is playing for Kaisi Gaming, Solar.
And spawning here at the top right, he's the blue Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream.
It's always interesting to see these Chinese teams really grow up with big names, especially in the last year. It has been a welcome change of air for this StarCraft 2 scene.
Yeah, for sure. I think for the longest time, it was mainly, the kind of the StarCraft, the highest StarCraft actions and tournaments were based in Korea and some in I guess foreign. But then in the past year or two, the Chinese scene has really increased a lot. The activity, the big tournaments that they have recently put on. It's been pretty impressive and also really, really welcome change, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm eager to see like more team leagues and stuff such as that show up, and it has already been a new thing. Well, not really a newcomer, something that is back from the old days, but I'm eager to see more stuff like team leagues because the level of many teams has risen quite higher. Already a pretty good play here by Solar, saving a drone from the Reaper, and of course this Reaper not gonna get much more, just a tiny little bit more scouting, but in the end, it's always good to see these tiny little saves with sport crawlers coming from the Zerg players. And on the other side, we have Dream going for third standard opener. He's gonna just drop the reactor, get some aliens out, go for a 1-1-1 opener, and just try to be the aggressor while Solar is safely trying to expand. And these two players are two very aggressive players. So it is not something that you see that and you okay, of course it's both players going for standard. It's really just not that. I'm actually surprised none of them is going for something very aggressive from the get-go.
Yeah, looks like they're just trying to feel each other out in this first game, and then maybe they will adjust and throw in a more aggressive type build later on as the series progresses. But so far, just basically as standard as you can get.
Yeah. I still think like I said that if this series like goes the long way, I still think Solar is going to win. But I do think Dream is the better late game player out of the two. Both players have a little bit of difficulties in the late game, but I still think that Dream has it a little bit more figured out. But we will see. It's gonna be an aggression with 6 aliens coming for Dream, trying to get some drone kills right now. But it looks like Solar is gonna be in a fairly good position to deal with that. Oh, a Medivac gonna drop into the main. That's starting to look a little bit worse for Solar. Nonetheless, I still think it's not gonna be too dramatic. Yet Lings are coming here to deal with the aliens. Good pull from Solar. It looks like these aliens are not gonna get much, and Dream is just gonna evacuate from the main of Solar.
Yeah, well defended so far. has his units positioned correctly from the left and to the right. It looks like Dream is going to go ahead and go for a second attempt, but again, Solar is just on top of it. He's got the Overlord positioned correctly to see and spot the medevac incoming.
Yeah, with a Spore Cooler in that position and the Queen over here, it's gonna be very hard for Dream to get an uncontested drop. The Medivac right now is very uncontested. The aliens are there. It looks like Solar is bleeding his links a little bit. In the end, actually, one alien is gonna be killed. And Dream still nothing, really, aside from Zerglings on the kill counter. And the Scouting Overlord. That's right.
There's always a Scouting Overlord that gets killed in the early game, it seems like.
Those are the true unspoken heroes of StarCraft. I like how Dream right here, he targeted his own aliens to deal with the crypt tumors. It's kind of common, but it's always funny to see these little moves happen. And okay, so Dream is gonna expand to the third base. He's not really preparing for an insanely quick timing. The alien drop kind of delayed some of his stuff, but he's gonna send 2 full Medivacs out, trying to get some damage done. And Solar right now getting to 4 bases. Macroing very good right now. Almost 70 workers out at 630. So it is going to be hard for Dream if he doesn't start to get some economical damage. With this Hydro Tank going up for Solar, I feel like the Zerg is getting into a very good position right now. Okay, these Marines are getting in a tiny little spot, very hard to contest. There are a lot of Queens, but in the main, not much to deal with the Medivacs. The drop is gonna come, he's gonna start targeting those lanes down. Finally, the rest of the army is showing up for Solar. In the end, Dream will not get any drones. Solar will need to sacrifice quite a lot of links for that.
Yeah, so far he's just relying on Ling and Bailing. He doesn't even have Bailing speed. Is about halfway done as he is trying to get the Hydralisk tech up and running. Hasn't actually quite produced any Hydralisks yet. He's waiting for the, it looks like the Hydralisk range. But this attack is coming soon, so he's going to have to produce some additional units to defend against it. It looks like additional Bailings. But that rock area, though, that rock is so good for the tanks.
And without many Banelings, and without Banelings speed to deal with that, even just 2 tanks is gonna be quite a hard task for Solar to deal with. But here comes the counter attack from Solar, already getting a ton of SCVs down. Solar doesn't really care about this attack on his 4th phase. He's just buying time. A lot of damage on top of the Marines. These Banelings got very good connections, and 18 SCVs dead on the other side. Right now, Solar can set up the surround on the army of Dream. He's waiting for these more Banelings to be done to then deal with the remaining army of Dream. A bunch of Elbats here sitting on top of the tanks to keep them safe from Banelings. But this base is not even in the orange elf. And right now, Dream really needs a miracle to get some serious damage. Queens are just transfusing each other, constantly keeping them alive. And Solar can now start to deal with the tanks, Queens on the Medivacs, and the rest of the army here on top of the tanks. Nothing left for Dream except Medivacs with a bunch of Marines. And he has to evacuate that location, suffering severe losses this time.
Yeah, and I'm getting a little afraid for Dream here because right now Solar has thrown down his lurker den. So once those lurkers are out, it's going to get significantly tougher for Dream to break Solar.
Solar really taking a page out of the book of Raynor, trying to get into his Ling Bane lurker play, something that is really hard to play, but it has been showing up as a very, very powerful way to play the matchup. If not the most powerful way to play the matchup once Vipers are out as well. But Solar needs to handle another Storm. That's a lot of bio, but that's also a lot of Zerglings. Banelings getting crazy good connections. The army of Dream is fighting back. It will deal with many of the Banelings, but some of them are just not dying. Solar once again, even off creep, just deals quickly with the army of Dream. Vision, Game Sense, and Dream cannot even get close to that 5th. I think Dream is quite all in this time. I don't see many ways he can come back into this game if he doesn't deal some serious damage right now.
Yeah, now the good thing for him is that the creep spread has been kind of pushed back a little. So, I mean, the banelings won't have enough, I guess, creep to kind of get the surround in the backside. But he's already has some lurkers here at the 5th, so that should help very much in this engagement here.
Yeah, he doesn't even need a flank. These lurkers are dealing so much damage. Tanks are way too backwards, and these liberators are too few in numbers to get close to the queens. It looks like Dream doesn't really have a way to break Solar right now. 97 workers, almost maxed out in army supply. He's getting his key upgrades. And right now Dream trying to go for a desperate split of his army, trying to go into the main with one medevac. It's gonna be pretty uncontested here in the main. It can get some serious damage. Actually, Solar didn't really react to this. Dream done a good job hiding this drop into the main, and right now Solar is sending way too much of his army into the main to deal with this. The spawning pool is under attack, but this is a very good time for Dream to commit into the 5th phase. Banelings are dealing with so many of the Marines, and Dream wasn't really paying too much attention here, losing way too much of his army again, and Solar once more unbreakable.
Oh man, the reinforcement of Dream is coming, so Solar is gonna have to do something before the Liberators and the tanks get too close. But it looks like the Vipers will be yanking and adopting those tanks as well as the Liberators, and that's gonna help significantly. Now he still has a lot of banelings left, and it's gonna still come down to the connection. But it seems like Dream might want to push back or retreat for now. But you know what? Solar's gonna get on top of this before that happens, and all the tanks get cleaned up, and nothing left but bio units here.
Beautiful, beautiful blinding cloud out of Solar, dealing with so much of the army of Dream. And even if that wasn't the most efficient of trades, it just showed Dream away from his creep. He's able to remake his units, more lurkers incoming, and it is starting to look very, very rough for Dream at this stage. I do think that Solar needs to start doing some counter damage, because his army back home is very good at defending. Here a little bit of a drop from Dream is getting some economical damage at the 5th phase and into the main, with a blinding cloud not doing much. But here's the real deal. The 6th phase of Solar under attack is gonna go down. A bunch of lurkers are coming into position, but they're very undefended, and the army of Dream is splitting in 2 different sides. There's not enough bio though. This doesn't look like a clean engage from Dream. And here comes the counter I was talking about. Solar doesn't break a sweat. He clears the bio army of Dream and he moves out. Dream also trying to deal some counter damage here at the 5th phase of Solar. It is starting to look like a big trade coming from these 2 players, but Solar has way enough to actually not care about what is happening on his own side of the map. He's just gonna replace his lost army, and here comes the banelings dealing with everything that Dream has on his side of the map, while Solar deals with the reinforcements. Lurkers getting in position, getting on top of the rally, and that's a very difficult spot for Dream to recover.
Yeah, man, but there's so many lurkers here at the front door of Dream. All the tanks has been pretty much taken out, so I just don't see any way how Dream can defend this many lurkers.
Yeah, not enough tanks. Every single tank that has been coming out of this factory has been instantly dealt with. And here comes the GG. Solar cleanly in control throughout the whole game. And this is gonna be a very, very convincing victory coming from the Zerg player.
Yeah. It seemed like Dream was kind of crawling himself back. I mean, he's taking a lot of bases, but he just didn't have the kind of the army to kind of hold off or actually take on the lurker composition of Solar. And once you get to that many amount of lurkers, it just gets so difficult, especially combined with the Viper energy. To either abduct or do some blinding clouds. it was just some great play there by Solar.
True. It's always the same old story. A Zerg player left uncontested, macroing it up, is just gonna overwhelm you. And this is exactly what has happened this game. Like that counter attack probably sealed the deal. Having a counter and being able to actually deal with the army of Dream in that spot, Solar was just plainly in control of the game from that point onwards.
And now we head into game number 2 with Solar up 1-0 in this best of 5 series.
And talking about the devil, spawning in the bottom right hand corner here on Lightshade is the red Zerg player playing for Kaizi Gaming, leading the series. As my partner said, it is Solar.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map is the blue Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream.
I love having these two players on such a short map. We already see Solar kind of adapting to this new pool of maps, sending a drone out for scouting Dream, one of the most successful proxy players in Korea, I'd say, as far as Terran goes. So Solar is gonna adapt to that. Here on a very short map, he's gonna send a drone out to check for anything off. Dream will not try to proxy him, but Solar was prepared. And we know Solar is pretty weak against these proxy players, so who knows, maybe we will come later on.
You know, as I'm looking at the map, I'm wondering, like, if in the future, like, you know, I guess, like, in the left side of the Zerg base, whether we see, like, proxy barracks being made and then just, like, lift it off into the main base.
Or the good old TY build. Yeah, I don't know. It is a good proxy starport and proxy stargate map, but the problem with proxying on very short map is that there's less surface area to scout, so it's easier to check for hidden spots, hidden proxies and stuff such as that. So I do like the call from Dream not to go for that, but even then, like, being a short map, if you find a good spot, and I believe they're gonna find some good spot to proxy stuff, it can be tricky to deal with.
All right, Initial Reaper will be diving on in here, trying to check if there's any drones he can kill here, but someone in the caliber of Solar would be able to save that. Don't make me look stupid. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Second game in a row. Good save by Solar. Dream is trying to keep the Reaper there, but of course, it's just gonna be a cancel. Solar did have a drone at the third base, ready to get the third down before the Reaper can do anything. Oh, this is dangerous. Yeah, the Reaper survives. Just barely, though.
Now on the other side, Dream looks like he's going for that same 1-1-1 build. Open up with the Hellions. This time he's going to throw down the Tech Lab. I'm wondering if he's going to switch over with the starport and either go for Banshees or maybe even go for a Fusion Core.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love to see some kind of play with Fusion Core. And it's not something I don't expect, but you know what? I think you're right. It's gonna be Banshee, I think. Oh, Raven.
Oh, Raven.
Raven?
Interesting. Wonder why.
It is gonna be some kind of harassment with the auto turrets. But aside from that, I'm not too sure. I think he wants to adapt to the series. Okay, he's gonna start Cloak. So he's making a Raven, and then he's gonna have a Banshee Cloak out. But I feel like he wants to keep that Raven alive for later on once Lurkers come into play. I think that's the call. But it's I don't know how to say this. It's pretty expensive way to deal with something that is gonna come into play so much later on. I'm not too sure about that. He's also gonna cancel Cloak.
Yeah, I think it was just to fake out because he
Yeah,
saw the Overlord, coming, and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and trick Solar into thinking I'm going for Banshees and force him to make some unnecessary Spore Crawlers." But gonna go ahead and actually gets them go for Bio Play.
yeah. And Solar wasn't really tricked by that. He didn't start any Spore Crawler. He saw the Raven, and he also has almost killed this Raven as well. There are 6 aliens ready to cause a ruckus over here, but in the end, Solar is just gonna hold. And you can see Dream falling a little bit short of supply right now, having also of upgrades, having delayed all of his stuff due to that Raven. You know what? I'm gonna stress this more. I didn't really like his play here.
I mean, it doesn't really hurt too much, but
Yeah, kind of.
yeah. Oh man, but he does let the
Oh.
Lings in.
Yeah, okay. He has Marines and aliens in a good position to deal with that, but Solar has forced Dream back and has got so much good scouting. Right now, Dream is gonna safely expand, and I think Solar is gonna have to start his own expansion soon. But once again, good worker count for the Zerg player. He's gonna be safe on upgrades. He's gonna be dropping down the Baneling Nest for safety right now. And everything is pretty much on time for Solar. While Dream is gonna have his first full Medivac go out quite in a late fashion.
Yeah, so far Solar really hasn't suffered any economic damage.
Yep.
Hasn't lost. I don't think he has lost even a single drone. So right now he's just like running high in terms of the worker and the minerals mining, and all he needs to do is just hold on here with the queens as long as he possibly can until that 1-1 upgrade kicks in for those links, so he can get the start going in for the surround.
I like that Dream has made a lot of aliens to keep the Zergling count low, but I like Solar's counterattack even more. There are so many aliens there that basically back home there would have been so many defenses, and Solar exploited that and killed so many Marines right now. So Dream basically cannot go out killing creep safely without losing half his army. The only thing he can do is keep creep count low with the Raven and the aliens, which is kind of good, but look at the risk. Look at these Zerglings getting us around. This is way too risky for Dream, getting so many units died. Over here, Solar just committing Zerglings, and he's keeping the army count of Dream basically non-existent.
Oh, that was such a beautiful surround there. And right now, I mean, if you can just defend with Ling and Bailing, all the gas you can just invest into upgrades, into higher tech. Right now, I mean, it's just Solar is looking to be in a great position. Although the supply, the overall supply, doesn't really indicate so. But he does have a little bit of a cheeky Overlord drop here. Let's see if he can get some SCV kills.
Yeah, being such a good aggressive player really pays off in these scenarios in which you defend everything perfectly, because you're always gonna have an ace up your sleeve. He defends again perfectly, effortlessly in this location, and now he has a counter. This is a perfect play from Solar. Twice in a row, he's gonna put Dream in such a bad position. His reinforcements are gonna be back at home trying to deal with these Zerglings, just overall being annoying, not really dealing damage, to be honest. But keeping Dream back in his base, keeping him honest and cautious about this drop alert, which is unlikely probably going to die right now. But Solar behind this, he has Lurker Den out, he's gonna start a hive, he's at 80 workers, 4 bases saturation, and he has a full army back home to deal with this. He has 56 Lings, 10 Hydras, 12 Banelings, and 7 Queens to deal with the army of Dream.
Oh man,
Right now the current player really needs a miracle.
Yeah, he's looking like he's trying to get something done here. Once those lurkers are out, that is going to spell disastrous, especially since his 2-2 upgrade is about to be finished. But there is I believe there was a drop here incoming to the main. Did it get scouted? No. Okay, it's still progressing here. It looks like Solar has yet to actually respond to this.
Yeah, this is a big risk for Dream. A risk I like he's taking. He needs to take those risks. He gets, first of all, a lot of scouting information, but he's also probably gonna get some damage. This spawning pool is suffering real danger. Oh, wait a second. Spawning pool will go down in the end, even just barely. Dream is gonna commit his full forces, but right now the rest of his bio is trying to get on top of the bird. Of course, a big surround is gonna come for Solar. The tanks are in a good position, and Dream actually getting a lot back. No more Zerglings means no more Banelings. No more Banelings means Solar needs to be very careful about his movements from now on. And this is exactly the miracle that Dream was looking for.
Yeah, more importantly, he stopped that Adrenal Gland upgrade, which means those lings will take a while before they can get beefier. And he just basically buying himself some time. And right now, look at his army supply, 125 to 87 of Solar. Now, granted, Solar has a lot of army supply into those lurkers, so it could look a little bit inflated, but still, that's a lot of army supply for the Terran player.
Yeah, and that's a very good anti-armor missile. Lurkers are in a very bad spot to deal with the army of Dream. Tanks are very much in position, but right now the Raven is going to be the most important thing. I was talking about it in the early game. The big surround coming from Solar, trying to get from every single angle on top of the army of Dream, and Dream quite not good enough with the reaction time. His Liberators on top of the Vipers are not gonna get enough damage, and Solar clean kills on everything, and also 3 lurkers are surviving this. Talk about a good fight for the Zerg player.
Yeah, that was a really nice flank. I really like how he engaged into that. And yeah, he microed that really well, made sure that the Banelings connect with those Marines. And right now, Dream, he's been pushed back a little bit, but it's still not over yet, quite yet. I mean, he's still establishing his 4th base. He's getting his +3/3. He's probably going to go for this drop here into the kind of the 6 o'clock base, which should be able to snipe it, as there is no Overlord scout. I mean, he is spreading his Overlord right now, but I don't think it's going to scout the 2 medevacs in the bottom here that's flying through.
Also, there's a little bit of an attack here in the top right, probably just to make Solar commit his army over here while his knights with the 2 medevacs you were talking about. The most important thing that has happened right now is probably the Raven dying. Without the Raven, Dream is gonna have to use scans for his lurker detection. This base going down is not a pretty big thing, and these medevacs can just load up and cause some more damage. There are 2 Vipers in the main. That's a very dangerous spot for Dream to go in, and here comes the parasitic clouds. Trying to deal with these medevacs. Oh, barely surviving. There is 1 Hydra, not gonna be enough. But in the end, Dream has bought himself some more time, has got 1 base. Even without a Raven, he probably has enough scans. Right now, Solar moving way off creep, getting into a very dangerous position. And with Dream having the high ground, this is starting to look a little bit dangerous for Solar. This is gonna be a very important fight for both players.
Yeah, but you know what? Look at that rock. Still making use of those rock, sieging up those tanks behind it, so it's much harder for the Zerg army to get on top of it. And he's just kind of abusing and taking advantage of the map layout, and I love this. But he's got to be careful. There are still a lot of Banelings there and 2 Vipers that's almost full energy.
Yeah, these blinding clouds could be very much game-changing, as well as the Abduct's lurkers are sieging down blinding clouds on top of all of the ramp. Nothing can go down that ramp. Crazy good play from Solar, who's gonna deal with so much fire effortlessly. But the tanks are still gonna be there. That means Dream can just reinforce this location again. And losing that Viper has been a very huge deal for Dream. Solar can just back off with his lurkers, wait for another good spot to get an engagement. This Bio is trying to dodge the lurkers' attack, but the Vipers need to refill their energy. They're not gonna be close here for these tanks Not right now, Solar tries to actually dive on top of the full army of Dream. That's gonna take some big losses for the third player, but the tanks are down now. A little bit of a scrappy engagement for both players.
Yeah, pretty much. He's gonna finally kind of take down, or at least try to attempt to take down that rock for a later engagement. But I mean, both players still in a pretty decent army supply. But the army, I guess, quality of Solar is still, I feel like, is a bit more superior to Dreams. Right now, he's just relying on just bio units.
And right now, Solar is trying to get on top of the rally point. Lurker surviving, tanks died in the engagement, and that's all that Solar needs to start going for a counter-attack. These Liberators are gonna be basically impossible to deal with, but it's just the two of them right now. And Dream doesn't really have the resources to replace him. Abducts, and right now these few Hydras are dealing with them perfectly. Dream is running out of resources. He calls the GG, and Solar, another great game for the third player and another deserved victory.
Yeah, looks like Solar is just playing overall so well. He is really strong historically against Terran, so I'm not surprised. But you know, being that it's on a new map, and being that, you know, Dream is not no slouch over, it's been pretty impressive play there by Solar.
Yeah, we've seen Dream really try to abuse some features of this map, and he did that in a very good fashion. I also like that he started to make some adjustments to Solar's play, trying to adapt to this series. But in the end, he still quite didn't figure out how to deal with his opponent. And I feel like Solar kind of did the same thing in the same way. He struggled a little bit more, but the late game engagements were just so much better for him compared to Dream that he just didn't break too much of a sweat. He kind of lost an engagement midway through the game, but he didn't really overcommit. He was always patient with his play, which is something we don't see very often on Solar. And in the end, he played a very good game again.
Yeah, for sure. All right, looks like the third map.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Solar forgot to switch to Zerg. All right, looks like we're gonna have to remake this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the third map will be on Oxide LE.
Yeah, interesting map. We're gonna talk about it once we get into it. But it's an interesting map, especially for this matchup. The new maps are very interesting for Terran versus Zerg, especially because there are a lot of interesting spots, interesting ways to expand, and I feel like this map is probably the most unique out of the bunch, and I'm gonna explain why in just a few seconds.
Yeah, countdown has begun. Solar looking to be one game away from clinching the series. We'll see if Dream has something to say about that as we head on to Oxide LE.
It's the third game of the series, and this guy in the top right hand corner is currently at match point, leading the series 2-0, playing for Kazi Gaming, is the Red Zerg, Solar.
And spawning here at the bottom left, he's the blue Terran player, hailing from Brave Star Gaming. Make some noise for Dream.
Alright, Oxide. This map is at the same time the best map to actually try and stop your opponent from getting a third, the best map to do a proxy, and the best map to get a tank siege timing attack. Because there are so many good tank spots here. And we see Solar, actually sending both his overlords scouting for proxies and the drone to make sure he's not gonna get proxied. And I love this call because Oxide just take a look around this map. There are so many good proxy locations.
Yeah. I mean, Solar has been keeping on top of his scouting in the early game. He's like anticipating that proxy or something. But looks like there's not going to be any proxy from Dream. It's gonna pretty much be a standard one barracks into gas, and we would assume he's gonna throw down. Yep, throw down that command center.
It is interesting that Dream hasn't gone for a single proxy, being one of the players who kind of always plays at least one proxy game against Zerg, especially against Solar, who is historically prone to losing against proxy play. He just really doesn't have a good way of dealing against 2 and 3 Rex proxies. He loses against it quite a bunch. So I'm actually curious about why Dream decided not to go for any proxy in all these games.
I think the idea maybe, if he can win this game, there's probably a greater chance he can proxy next game, so that he can get a quick win, get that the 2-2 tie, and then push it to the kind of the deciders match.
Yeah, it is a good reasoning. But if there was one map on which he should have proxied, it's probably this one. Like, Solar was very careful about it, sending Oblets out and the drone as well. But you know what? It really, there are so many good spots still. And I remember a game of Dream versus Solar, actually, in which Dream proxied Solar. Solar scouted it before the first Rex was done, and Dream still won. So he's that good at that build.
Well, he's been mainly sticking to this 1-1-1 build. Now, the last time he went for this, he went for the Raven opening. This time around, he's switching it up. He's actually going for the Liberator instead. Still getting that tech lab on that factory, but I mean not factory, the barracks. But we might still see that that fusion core pop up. We shall see in the next few seconds. But in the meantime, Reaper will be diving in here onto the main base. Doesn't see quite as much. Doesn't really see if there's a lot of drones in the natural, or there's a fast evolution chamber, or a fast layer as well. But in the meantime, he's just gonna go ahead and just deny these creep tumors as best as he possibly can.
Dream is playing like the most standard way to play the matchup. He's gonna have that tech lab soon to get steam pack as soon as possible, and then go for a 2 tanks and probably at least 2 full medivacs kind of push timing attack. That's basically the bread and butter for Terran vs Zerg. And I do like that he's not going for that 6 alien play that really didn't pay off for him in the first 2 games. So once more Dream is adapting again. The Raven also kind of just died at a certain point. It helped Dream keep creep at bay. But Oxide is a way bigger map than Lightshade. So creep is not gonna be a huge problem until later on. So the Raven is kind of not needed. And here, Solar is almost gonna lose a queen to Hellions. So Dream with the Liberator is trying to set up for something a tiny bit more dangerous this time. Getting 3 drones already as well.
Alright.
Oh, more Hellions coming.
Looks like Dream is gonna go ahead and try to pop. Now if he can pop up the, yeah, like I was just about to say, if he could pop up that Liberator and siege the Liberator right in that kind of the choke area, and maybe possibly send some tanks over later on, that could actually be a great positioning. But so far no tanks out in the field yet, and Solar just could be satisfied just defending with just pure queens.
Yeah, right now Dream is certainly trying to set the ground up for a timing attack. But with this third base coming for him, he's not gonna be like super hard committed. It's not gonna be any kind of a lean coming, not even remotely. But he still wants to deal some damage soon enough. I like that Solar is starting to break down these rocks. because all of these rocks are in very bad spots for the Zerg player. So all of them Solar needs to break almost all of them. There's no real reason to keep them up. And he's also gonna quite ham on the Zerglings. He's gonna have a lot of Zerglings to deal with. The army of Dream is trying to set up us around too many aliens. And the 4th base is also gonna come down for Solar. I also like that he's not expanding in the triangular pattern, but he's gonna get the top left base instead, because that base here next to the main is gonna be way harder to defend than the other one.
All right, looks like we're heading to what would be the mid game here, and both players just messing up, kind of their army composition, kind of getting their bases established, getting their mining up and running, and we'll see when either of these players go for that first hit here. We haven't really had any major kind of skirmishes. We kind of had some like little harasses, but not any big engagement. This might actually be the first real big engagement here at the main base, as these 2 medevac drops does get into the main base. And oh my god, is he gonna get that spawning pool? He does!
Ooh, losing 3 Marines for a spawning pool, I take that deal every day. Suddenly Dream is in a very good position. You can clear a lot of creep tumors right here, and he's still on 2 different sides, forcing Solar to split. But yeah, Solar is in a little bit of a bad spot here. He's not ahead in workers as he was on the previous games. He's not really... Oh, he's gonna lose a queen as well? Okay, not really. He's not really way too ahead in tech as he was in the other games. He doesn't even have Bailey speed as of now, which is very bad for him, considering he has been dropping. Did he forget about it?
He must have. I mean, this is quite late. I would imagine that he did forget about it.
Oh, and Dream splitting his army, half in the main, half here, dealing with his 4th base. There's still a pretty big choke point. Solar needs to split his army in 3 different locations to deal with this, and he cannot really afford it. He must buy some time. And Dream, being quicker with his build, is already causing a lot of problems to Solar. A big engagement is happening right now at the 4th base. Solar doesn't really look like he has enough. These slow penlings are not exactly what he needed, and that's gonna be a very bad thing for him. He starts penling speed right now, forgetting about that upgrade is spelling disaster for him, and Dream is safely gonna clear the army. He's gonna get his first game of the series, and right now Solar has a lot of things to think about this game. It really didn't pan out in his favor.
Yeah, kind of like throughout the whole game, it seems like Dream was kind of harassing Solar to death or something.
Yeah.
He kept finding openings, even on the right side where he was. He would ideally put some overlords there to kind of spot any drops, but Dream just managed to find an opening there with no overlord spotters and drop into the main base. And then after that point, after sniping that spawning pool, it just felt like Dream just kept piling on the hurt onto Solar till the point where he did commit to a push. And by that time, Solar forgot his Baneling speed. Either he forgot about it or it was intentional. I'm not sure.
I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, it felt like he just kind of forgot about it. And we all been there. We forgot like researching like Warp Gate or as a Protoss or forgetting Stim or Combat Shield as a Terran. And for Zerg, sometimes you forget about Baneling speed.
Yeah. That's really the worst thing that can happen to you in this matchup, because as soon as the Terran player comes at your doorstep and you realize, oh no, I forgot Baneling speed, the game is basically over. Like, you cannot do anything to deal with the Terran army, because you have to buy yourself like 74 seconds, I think. And it is just very hard to deal with an army without Baneling. Oh?
What happened there?
I have no idea.
Okay, they're speaking in Korean, so I guess we won't know. Uh, maybe wrong map or something. I don't know.
It could be.
But anyhow, while we get this game restarted here, there is a Match Reno page for this event. Just a reminder that there is a coupon code. It's pinned right on top of the chat board. The code is AX176. You use that code, go into that Match Reno link, and then sign in. As you can see, you can sign in with your Battle.net, your Facebook, your Google, your YouTube, your Twitch, your Twitter, your Discord, your Microsoft, your Line account. So many ways to log in, and then click on the contribute button. Enter the coupon code right here, and then there should be a contribute button, and you just click on contribute, and that will add 50 cents for free to the overall prize pool and help out the players. So make sure to do so.
Yeah, it looks like Solar was forgetting his race again, but yeah, I
Okay,
remember.
awesome.
So it wasn't the wrong map. Maybe there was the match history open, or maybe there wasn't Korea server. I don't know. Something weird happened.
Something weird, but we are about to get started here. Not too long of a delay. Also, guys, make sure to drop us a follow on this channel. We are quite close to leveling up to level 3, which means we get some extra perks. So definitely drop us a follow. If you haven't done so, make sure to create a Trovo account so that you can follow us. That'll definitely help a lot. All right, let's get started here on Jagannatha. Jagannatha. Okay, there we go.
We're in the bottom left-hand corner. Spawning as the red Zerg player, playing for Kazi Gaming, hailing from Korea, currently at match point, it is Solar.
And spawning here at the top right, he's the blue Terran player. He's pulling out some stinky cheese. Will it work out? We'll see. It is Dream.
I can't believe this overlord is not gonna scout it.
Oh man.
Man.
Yeah, this is quite unfortunate. But you know what? As I predicted, I think this game is where Dream should have pulled out cheese so you can get the quicker tie and then head on to the next match with a little bit of momentum.
It's interesting that he decided to go for it on this map. This is a pretty big map. It is not very wide, but it's very, very long. And there are acceleration zones, so the rush distance is not that high. So the big dimensions of this map only matter in ultra late game. But yeah, right now Dream wants to exploit this little bit of a spot. Very hard to scout. Dropping a bunker already, getting his proxy play, and Solar is probably feeling like he should have expected this. Especially in this game, and this archery here in the natural is under fire, and it's looking very, very rough for Solar to deal with this. 3 bunkers already going down here. At his natural, there's a Roach Warren being dropped by Solar. I don't know if he's expecting actually a 3 or 4 racks play from his opponent, because this Roach Warren, he is going to deal with the proxy, but he's gonna be leaving him quite behind in the later stages of this match. There's a lair as well. I feel like Solar has something else in mind, maybe a Nidus, I don't know, but his archery is definitely not going to survive, and Dream's proxy is 100% fulfilled. 3 bunkers up. He's gonna be making more Marines, but right now he's gonna be happy about it, sending his barracks back home and almost stealing these bunkers. Like, nothing can get out of this main right now unless it is in a Nidus Worm. And let's see if... Yup, here it is. Nidus
Awesome.
Network.
And he's got the Overlord right there at the kind of like the bottom right side of the main base of Dream. So it's going to be up to Dream to make sure he covers all the dark areas. But right now there is an opening here because this actually the barracks are kind of onto the left side, and there's a kind of an opening onto the right side where he can sneak in a Nidus Worm. And so far, Dream has not scouted this yet.
There are the two Rex coming back home that can actually scout the Overlord, but they're not gonna be in time to see. Oh, there was one supply depot over there. Only workers cannot kill this Nidus network in time. The Nidus will go up. Are there any queens with this? Yes, there are. Transfusing these Nidus back to health. And here it comes, the rest of the army of Solar dealing with the SCVs. Everything is going down. There's one Cyclone trying to deal with the Ravager, but he cannot really go that far with these Zerglings coming over here. It looks like Dream was expecting the Nidus, as you know, he's translating for us, but there was so much of his army supply on the other side of the map that he had to lose so much back home, and suddenly Solar finds himself in a very good spot into this game. Roach's trying to find Marines is not the best that can happen, but it's still so much army supply for Solar. Here comes another Ravager Bile raining down. There are only 5 workers and 1 orbital to keep Dream up into this game, but I do think that Solar has found a way to deal with his opponent. The Ravager is gonna kill the Cyclone, and it's gonna be GG called for Dream. Solar takes the series 3-1, and quite deservedly so.
Yeah, that was a great play there. Immediately going for that Nidus Worm. Didn't even hesitate. He was like, you know what? My hatchery at the natural is basically done for. I'm just gonna go ahead and respond to this by just cheesing the cheese. And yeah, it worked out rather well. Now Dream almost had that kill on the Nidus Worm, but just not quite there yet. You know, you could surround it with SCVs, but I think you need a extra like few Marine or a Cyclone or something to actually snipe it before that pops out. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And Solar will take it 3-1 and advance to the finals.
You actually need at least 2 Marines from the get-go as soon as the Nidus Worm goes up and you pull all of your SCVs. Otherwise, the Nidus Worm is gonna go up. Even if there is just 1 Marine, it's gonna go up. And those are very little things, minor things, that probably players who do not play Zerg do not know. But even if you immediately pull workers and you maybe have a units coming there, it is most often not gonna be enough. I think the buff to the Nidus Worm that gave armor to it while it's rising is a buff from 2 years ago or something like it. But still, so many players didn't adapt to it. So workers just don't do anything against Nidus Worms right now. And Solar did a good play. In the first 2 games, he won them fair and square with very good macro plays. And I feel like he deserved this series way more than Dream. Even though Dream adapted very well to his opponent, I was liking his play even in his last game. I still feel Solar was just playing a little bit better overall.
Yeah, I think I had the feeling like Solar had the edge coming to that series, and I predicted that he would win. But you know what? Dream made it, kind of iffy because I think he had a nice start with that proxy. He was able to take down that hatchery without relatively any losses. Wasn't really behind. He just didn't get the necessarily scout on that Nidus play, and it backfired on him. But Solar, he definitely deserved to move on, and we'll see who he faces next. We have our second semifinals between Creator and Armani, and we're gonna go ahead and get into that. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and take let's say a little bit of a break here, maybe around 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll be right back with our next semifinals between Creator and Armani. I am Snoopy. Here with me is Acontises, and we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Today's awesome content has been brought to you by our sponsor, Carhartt. At Carhartt, every day is Labor Day because Carhartt never takes a day off from celebrating hardworking people like you. Since 1889, they've been building gear that has your back 24/7 with tough and trusted workwear like this. From running repairs to running errands, their men's mid-weight hoodies keeps you comfortable on the move. It's made of sweat-wicking fabric that's cut to give your arms a full range of motion. Its full zip layer also fights job site stains so it can last through several seasons of hard work. They're also built with force technology to wick sweat and dry fast. The fast dry technology wicks away sweat while the stain breaker technology releases stains. So be sure to check out our events page for their sponsor quest or visit them anytime at carhartt.com. Now back to the games.
All right, welcome back, guys. If you guys went to the bathroom, grab your drink, grab your snack, whatever you needed to do, and we're back for the second semifinals between Creator and Armani. So we're gonna have ourselves a PVZ, and I can't wait to get this started.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series. We are gonna head out on Death Aura for our first game. Second map is gonna be Lightshade, then Jagannatha, Oxide, and Romanticide as the last one, if it gets to that. But we have another matchup here, a little bit of Zerg versus Protoss. And you know what? Armani's been looking so strongly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been at it as well, right? For like kind of similar to Solar, where
Yeah.
we've been consistently seeing him compete in GSL, as well as the the Super Pro or the GSL Super Tournament as well. And yeah, I think going into this series, you will probably have to give the slight edge for Armani over Creator.
Yeah, just due to his latest performance, like this is one of these players, like even a step behind Solar, I'd put him, because he hasn't really been showing up at a very high level. Always like struggling at round of 16, getting seldomly out of round of 24, and never really getting past round of 16, as I was saying. But this time, he's gonna be qualifying for round of 8. He's been looking strong lately. He's been playing very good at all stages of the game. This is one of these players that has really improved a lot. And well, let's get into introductions and talking especially about him. Here in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura, playing for a Freak of Freaks, it is Armani.
And spawning here at the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss player. He's hailing from Korea. It is Creator.
Already being kind of naughty here with his natural block with his probe, setting up you know what, some good ground for a little bit of a shade glaive adept build. So yeah, that's my call. I know it's quite I don't know even how to say it. It's quite obvious. It's VVP.
It's so common here.
But yeah, like with this scenario, this map, it really makes it even better. Like the only other thing that it's pretty good here on the Aura is a Stargate opener, which is something that is very like Creator. Creator is a very good Stargate player, one of those players who prefers to go for a Stargate. But I'm still gonna call it a Shade build, a Glaive Adept build. I meant.
Yeah, I mean, we see like certain Protosses like or prefer to go for the Stargate opening more so than often compared to other Protosses, and then some like going for more, you know, Twilight Adept, maybe DTs, that kind of a route. Creator, I would say, yeah, he's more, I guess, more commonly using Stargate throughout his history of play, and it looks like you were right. He's thrown down that Stargate. He's going to go ahead and either go for the Oracle or Phoenix, but then also he might even go for that Void Ray. We've seen a lot of more Void Ray plays coming out of Protoss after that patch, and you know, it's still being experimented on, I feel like, but there has been a lot of progress on Stargate openings, Void Ray openings against Zerg players.
There's also like this build of getting the Oracles, 2 Oracles and a Phoenix, and then getting Glaive Adepts, and still trying to deal a lot of economical damage, back off, and set up a strong Archon attack, which is another build I very much like to see, especially on a map such as Sephora, a map on which the Zerg player has a lot of difficulties getting out of his own side. But looking at Creator, I'm more... Ooh, this Adept is gonna go down. Yeah, I'm more looking for some heavier Oracle style. Yeah, both Adepts have gone down. That's a little bit of a bummer for Creator.
Yeah, because even if he does decide to transition into Glaive Adepts, that's 2 less Adepts, and we know that the more Adepts you can get during that attack, the more better.
Yeah, he immediately drops the Robo after that. Of course, he's not really gonna get much with Twilight Council. He's gonna get only 2 drones with his Oracle, and Armani already looking to get a little bit of a counter. This Adept is gonna survive with 6 health points. There's a Twilight Council being dropped, as well as the Robo actually. So it might be Glaives, but it might also be like Flame. And Armani on the other side, not really droning too much, I'd say. He's being quite honest with himself. He wants to be able to deal with whatever Creator is gonna send on his side of the map. And right now, Creator is trying to drop down a Stasis Ward. Not gonna be happy with that.
There's some nice reaction time there by Armani. Does kind of null or decrease the effect of that Stasis Ward. And looks like, yeah, he's going to go ahead and transition into Templar Archive. So going to go for that double Archon drop, which I like. Because
I think he's quite all in on that, though. He's very much all in on this. He doesn't have a bird. There's a lot of gateways. There's a lot of tech. He's starting charge. He's gonna be starting with a Warp Prison, so no Immortals for defense. I think he's very all in on this. Oh no, yeah, okay, he is just being dropped the next. Yeah, never mind. Forget everything I just said.
Yeah, I think if it was 8 gateways, that would probably be a better indicator of a more committed play. I think he's just trying to feel a bit safer during that 6 total gateways, because usually you just need 4 gateways for that double immortal or the double archon drop. But I think he felt just a little bit scared, just wants to be a bit safer and get that 2 extra gateways in case he needed it. But looks like he's gonna go ahead and start commencing with this archon drop, and a nice little kind of I guess double prong harass as he's harassing the main base. He can shade in those 2 adepts into the third base as well.
I love what Armani is doing as well, setting up this counterattack with these Zerglings. These are very, very good ways to keep the Oracle back. And here comes a lot of Zealots whooping into the main of Armani. There's still gonna be a bunch of Roaches and Queens to deal with this. It's not gonna be easy though. Meanwhile, a lot of Zealots and Adepts actually get also in the third base. Armani is sending his Zerglings back home without dealing too much damage. I was hoping the Creator was leaving most stuff behind, but right now losing an Archon is still a pretty good thing for Armani. Creator dealing quite a lot of economical damage, keeping a lot of drones out of the mineral path. But right now, it looks like Armani might be able to just start walking through the map after this. I don't see like Creator having too many defenses. Like losing 11 drones, of course, is a bummer. But you know what? Armani as +1 is gonna be having Roach speed in a little while, and he's gonna be having a 4th base pretty much uncontested soon enough.
Yeah, but luckily for our Creator, he does save that War Prism, so that means that even if Armani did decide to want to go across the map, he's gonna force Armani to stay at home to defend against that War Prism. That's one of the great things about War Prism, right? Even if the drop doesn't work out successfully, at least the threat of the War Prism will keep your opponent back at home while you try to get up that shield battery, get as much army to help defend if the eventual counterattack does commence. But looks like Creator going for round 2 here. He's got 2 Immortals, 3 Archons, and a bunch of Zealots here. Let's see if he can actually snipe out that 4th base. That 4th base is actually pretty low. It's actually in half-life.
Yeah, and Armani is right now starting to make those Ravagers for defense. Having very good scouting and sending the Zerglings out to check the army composition of Creator was a very good thing. And Creator is really trying to get the most out of his early Templar archives. Here comes a revelation dropped by the Oracle. The army of Creator right now is a tiny bit too strong for Armani to deal with. Armani is gonna try to buy time with a counterattack, but this base is not gonna be easy to defend. Actually, I think it's gonna be impossible to defend.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna go ahead and just retreat all his drones. But on the other side, there is a nice counterattack here by Armani. Might actually take out that Nexus. There is no shield battery to help recharge the shield. Oh, it's gonna be close though. Oh no, he's gonna go ahead and just get on top of these gateway units. But in the meantime, a big engagement here out in the middle side of the I guess the outer edge of the 4th base of the Zerg. Some nice force fields will catch a few Ravagers, so some nice pick off there. And the army supply is like pretty much dead even right now. The difference is though Armani does have that +1 range attack, so that's probably gonna help him, as well as the kind of the defender's advantage.
Yeah, of course. Even though his army is a little bit inflated by Roach and Ravager supply, these Ravagers are still a hard thing to deal with. Like, it's not like a Creator can just dive on top of the army of Armani. Like, as you were saying, defender's advantage.
What?
What?
He just killed his Hydralisk then? Oh my god.
He didn't want to find himself in a choke point. I see the reasoning behind that, but even then, he just killed his own Hydra then. No Hydras for Armani to deal with this. It's not like he needs Hydras, he needs way more probably right now. Ravagers, of course, are dealing a lot of damage. There's not many Zealots to tank the Roaches. Right now, Roaches are getting on top of Archons and Immortals alike. There's no War Prism actually near to juggle them, but the army of Creator is just a tiny bit too strong tech-wise. And right now, everything is crumbling for Armani. Defender's advantage, as you were saying, can still be a thing. These Immortals and Archons are both very bruised. The drones get pulled into the fight as well, but so much is being lost for money right now. I'm not too sure if he can handle these losses. More zealots are being warped in right now to tank. This base is gonna go down. 28 workers have died. Creator knows he cannot survive too much long on creep, with defender's advantage being a thing and many more roaches coming. But Armani needs to suffer very much deadly losses economy-wise.
Oh man, it's just not looking good for the Zerg player here. Down 41 workers to 57. Yes, he does have the I guess the 4th base, but I guess now 3rd base. But on the other side, Creator's on 3 bases as well, and it's never a great position and situation where you have as a Zerg equal amount of bases compared to your opponent, unless your opponent is Zerg himself. But unfortunately for Armani, Creator is a Protoss player. And what can Armani do from this point? What do you think?
Of course, killing that Hydra then is delaying his stack. He has an infestation pit being dropped right now, and I feel like in any scenario it's just too late for Armani to do anything really. He's on 3 bases, he's behind on tech, he's being even out on upgrades as well, and he just doesn't have the critical mass of Ravagers that can basically just pile down any army composition. I like the Nidus network. That's something I wasn't thinking about. A good Nidus network means you can buy a lot of time. You can just juggle in between the bases of Creator, keeping him home to deal with those pesky worms showing up. But I fear it might be a little bit too late.
Yeah, it looks like Creator's getting ready to move out there, and he's still stuck on Roach Ravager's tech. He hasn't really transitioned to anything else. He is adding a couple of lings, but there's not Baneling Nest into which he can connect to those charge lot, and he does have a lot of charge lot. In fact, he has let's see how many charge lot he has. He has a total of 17. And I think he could have used some Banelings right now, but in the meantime, Nidus Worm is going to go ahead and pop into the main base, but at the same time, Creator is getting ready to pounce on this base of Armani.
And it looks like Armani is gonna send the drones as well into the Nidus Worm. Lings here at the 4th base. It looks like Armani wants to go for a plain and square base trade. But you know what? That's just so much Protoss. I feel like there was a desperate attempt from Armani, and he knows there was no way to recover. But still, yeah, you just have to try it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much on the back foot. He needed to try something, right?
Yeah.
Now the one, excuse me. Now the one thing is that, imagine if he didn't snipe off that Hydralisk den. If that survived, he could have probably transitioned into lurkers, and that could have helped him come back, because we know how good lurkers are for Zerg these days, right? But unfortunately,
Still needed to buy some time though.
Yeah. He still would have needed to buy some time.
He was in a very bad spot either ways, but yeah, of course, not killing his own Hydra den would have been a better position. But then again, do you think he would have held without killing that, with that choke point being up?
Oh, that's hard to say.
It's very hard to say, I agree.
Yeah.
I really do not know the answer.
I guess we'll never know, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. But yeah, a Creator played a very good game. He was very clever with his movements, and Armani was a little bit too careless, I'd say.
Well, like Kyuri said in the chat, I mean, Creator, he can play really well sometimes, and
Yeah,
we
true.
definitely see that in GSL, where for the most part he plays okay, but every once in the blue moon he just like pulls out an impressive win against someone that is like hardly favored to win against him, and he shocks people with that win, and he could come out of the group like first place or something. I don't know. But
this is something that happens way too often for creator, especially in international stages. It happens a lot. Like even in Home Story Cup, Katowice, and I feel like maybe GSL versus the World happened once. But yeah, it happens a lot for him. Even on stages you wouldn't expect him to actually shine all of a sudden. But you know what? I do not really think he's gonna win this series yet. But we will see. And getting into introductions, spawning in the top left hand corner of Lightshade. Just being lost the first set of this series. He needs to recover. It is the red Zerg player playing for Africa Freaks. It is Armani.
And spawning here at the bottom right is the blue Protoss, looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? Oh, not to tie up the series, but extend his lead to 2-0. Can he do it? It is a creator with a very interesting looking decal or something that rotating. It's an anime girl. I'm not sure exactly what character that is, but it's pretty cute.
I have no idea. Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Discord did some weird stuff. I don't know why.
All right, so oh wait. Oh, Alexa, stop. I guess my Alexa just heard something. I don't know.
Okay, it's just a lot of weird stuff has been happening in the last few seconds. For reasons,
Oh man.
our electronic devices decided not to work properly, apparently. But all is fine. So yeah, we were talking about the anime girl, but yeah, we will never know probably. It is a robo opener for creator. I mean, it is a short map. It really lends itself to aggressive plays. So do you think creator is gonna set up some kind of immortal all-in?
I could definitely see that. I think a good indicator is if he's gonna go ahead and produce a sentry out of this gateway soon. That kind of oh no, actually.
Ooh, disruptor drop.
Ah, yeah. We've seen a lot of disruptor play against Zerg these days. I think a lot of it has to do with Zaun, who recently has been pulling off some really impressive disruptor Warp Prism play against Zerg, and I love it. It's a nice little change up here.
Yeah, it is true. And you know what? This used to be an only Russian build. The disruptor drop, I mean, it was a build that very much only Russian players were doing, and they had quite a lot of success with it actually, to the point that right now even players such as Zaun in the GSL have shown that disruptor in an earlier stage of the game is actually nothing to frown upon. Right now, this Roboblade is not doing anything. Okay, the first disruptor is gonna start right now, but the Warp Prism is still gonna start to deal some damage. While Warp Prism speed starts, the robotics facility gets chrono boosted twice for both disruptors to be very much on time before the Warp Prism comes back home.
You see, the one thing great about this build is that it allows you to harass early on, and then once you get your harassment done, you can transition into the disruptor, get some additional harassment done, and then if it does not quite do as much damage, you can still transition after that and get Colossus. It's a very flexible build here, and
it also gets a ton of scouting information, which is another very important thing.
Yeah, that's true. And also, it could also potentially snipe off creep tumors. Because right now, these days, you can't really cancel the creep tumor if it's building, so that allows your opponent to just snipe them off if it's in the process of being made.
Alright, Creator is dropping down 4 more gateways, is cutting off a few sentries. We see no third base, Am I wrong again, Snoopy? Or this is looking a little bit of leaning from him?
Uh, I it might be. It might be. Did he actually get Thermal Lance? I don't think he got Thermal Lance.
No, he didn't. He has Warp Prism speed. This thing is just zooming from the map, right? Oh my god, the Disruptor gets actually sniped by Armani. That's a big, big bummer for Creator. He's gonna be dropping a single Disruptor right now, and probably his soon to come attack has lost quite a lot of strength. This drop is gonna get only 2 drones. Armani very much on point on his defense.
Oh, oh.
Oh,
Oh, that was so close. You know what? I'm seeing a lot of sentries. I'm thinking, yeah, it's pretty much an all-in here. At this point, there is no turning back. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have Thermal Lance, but actually, it's actually worked out because he only made 1 Colossus, so he didn't really need it. He's going to rely mainly on those Disruptors and those Force Field Sentries. But unfortunately, he lost 1 of those Disruptors, and that is that's going to be that's going to hurt him a little bit during this attack.
Yeah, he's gonna have only 1 Colossus. That's the biggest thing of all, instead of 2. He's gonna be having 2 Colossi with his attack otherwise, and right now he only has 1. And that's pretty big deal.
Oh, but these lanes getting cut off during the pathing here. All right, looks like Armani's will have to set up a nice surround. Now, the good thing about this map is for him is that there's a lot of wide open spaces. You can get some nice surround and flanks. But Armani right now, he's going for a counterattack with the Lings instead of getting the flank. He feels confident in defending with these Roach and Ravagers.
Yeah, he's also gonna just start to pile down stuff and then cut backwards, trying to bait those Disruptor shot, maybe being missed. And this bird base over here by Armani is in real danger of falling down right now. But on the other side, the Zerglings have broken through, yes, but at what cost? A few Warp Pins were enough for Creator to deal with the lanes, and right now Armani is just on his base, trying to deal with this. The army of Creator is growing by the second, and there's a lot of Stalkers already. The army of Armani, though, not really that strong. Ravagers being caught out, and that's another big Disruption Nova falling down on top of these Ravagers. More Roaches are coming, more stuff is coming, but Armani is sacking his Fur base. Finally, +1 melee is done, but I do not really see many Zerglings with his army, and Zerglings are just gonna melt to this Colossi. This base is history for Armani, and Creator is quite outgrowing his opponent right now.
Yeah, and this is the reason why this build is so good. It's just so hard for the Zerg to clean this up with just mainly Roaches and Ravagers. And also, you can't really go for Mastlings either because of those Force Field and that, of course, that Colossus with that Thermal Lance laser. Right now, I think Creator just can go on into the natural and finish this off, but it looks like he's gonna play it slowly, play with his food here a little bit.
Yeah, it really has the time to do that. The Zerg is on 2 bases, Creator is on 2 bases as well. He's feeling very comfortable right now. Maybe a tiny bit too comfortable heading back into his own base, but with another Disruptor coming, I don't really see Armani having what it takes to deal with this. And once again, I feel like Armani was way too careless with his Zerglings. Sending them for a counterattack against an all-in, that's not a good idea. All he needed was to defend the all-in and he would have won. The counterattack was just a little bit too much. He lost way too many Zerglings basically for nothing. And right now, this is really hurting him. His main army is all clumped up at this third base over here. Ravagers trying to pile down anything in time. But there's another Disruption Nova, which will get another Ravager down. The numbers are very important for Armani. Every single unit's count. While Creator is just gonna melt his third base again. While Armani is sending everything out, going for the base trade. And you know what? That's another very desperate move from the Zerg player, because this is a base trade he can never win.
Yeah, I mean, he recognizes he can't really fight this Protoss ball. of even with the base trade. I mean, you got to remember Protoss can recall anytime he wants, and so in this scenario, I feel like Creator, it does favor Creator a bit.
Yeah, this is just a desperation move from Armani. I don't really feel like anything can happen. Also, a bunch of these probes are actually sneaking away right now. There is a War Prism ready to collect them. And this will mean the Creator can rebuild anywhere on the map. While, yeah, Armani has one drone escaping his main base. He has one hatchery being made here in the bottom of the map. But once it comes to the two armies clashing against each other, that's not a fight that Armani can win. And I do really doubt that he can actually kite his opponent to death.
Yeah, it looks like both players gonna go ahead and clean up the rest of their opponent's main base, but in the end, we do see that Creator does have the better army supply, the better army composition. There's really nothing that Armani can do except possibly trick him into moving his army out into the outside of in the middle of the map and trying to go on top of that nexus. But even then, Creator can still create, has enough minerals to make another pylon and simulators and whatever building he needs to do. But here we go. Armani's going to go ahead and attempt his... oh my god!
That's a big Nova. Yeah, I feel a little bit sad for the viewers because, you know, you see a base trade and you're excited. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good game. Base trade. But, yeah, Creator is so much ahead. Armani just basically tries to dive on top of this Nexus, but it's never gonna be enough. GG gets gold, and Creator 2-0 lead right now on top of his opponent, and that's a very surprising thing.
Yeah, and I love the build that he pulled out.
Yeah.
Creator... Oh, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
Creator just pulling out that really solid disruptor build, and then of course transitioning to Colossus and making I guess use of the fact that Armani went for the contact with the Lings, and basically bought him some. I mean, that Warlock bought him some time. Was able to pick off some roaches and ravagers, and by the time, you know, he looks back, you know, all the Lings are gone, and at that point he knew that he had the game. So well played there by Creator.
Yeah, truly well played. I still think that I'm quite a little bit in disarray because on one page I feel like Creator is playing very well today, especially game 1 was a crazy well played game, but I do also feel like Armani is kind of just not really feeling himself. Like compared to the games he had lately, like this is not even close to his peak level. So I want to see him show up in the next few games, and who knows, maybe he can also get a reverse sweep, even though it's gonna be very hard. And talking about the devil again, spawning in the top right hand corner of Jagannafa as the red Zer player, playing for a freak of freaks, it is Armani.
And speaking of the devil, on this side is the angel. He's the blue Protoss. He is Creator.
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I guess everyone. If you ask all the Zergs, Armani is the angel, and then if you ask all the Protoss, it's like Creator is the angel.
And what if you ask the Terran?
They're both devils.
That's something a Terran will say.
Yeah,
Devil.
sounds about right.
Yeah. It sounds like a special quote or something.
By the way, Kayuri in the chat saying this is a good way to play PVZ now, and I gotta agree because for the longest time, Protoss has been pulling out Adept Glaive builds. Of course, they have been going for Stargate Oracle for the longest time, and now there's a kind of a shift in the meta a little bit in PvZ, where Protoss is starting to go into that disruptor play. And then transitioning to maybe a Colossus 2 base all in, or maybe they just transition to a regular dirt base. Kind of changing up the meta, and we all know kind of like the history between PvZ is that Protoss initially pulls out a really strong build, a new build, and the Zergs has some trouble with it. They gotta adapt to it, and over time, once they adapt to it, you start seeing Zergs winning a bit more against those kind of builds. But it's right now during this phase where Protoss is pulling out builds like the Disruptor or maybe even Void Ray builds, where it's kind of stumping the Zerg, and they don't have quite the experience or the knowledge of how to counter it. So we see a little bit of a little bit of a shift in terms of Protoss winning a bit more games here and there with these kind of non-common builds.
Yeah, I do agree 100%, and it is especially like even more highlighted in these cases, because like if I think about the answer to the Shade build, to the Glaive Adepts build, like you get a late lair first of all, and you get a lot of lanes, and then you get an early Roach Warren, and you start getting heavy Roach and Ravager build, while the answer to the Disruptor Colossi build or to the Void Rays is always getting a very early lair, which is something you never get against Glaive Adepts. So the two answers against these two builds are at the polar opposites, basically. So it is very hard for the Zerg player to deal with those stuff. So my call for the future is that probably we're gonna see some more Overlord Speed builds get into the meta in the future, because Overlord Speed grants you the opportunity to react with an early lair if you see like any early Robo, early Stargate, to get your Spire or Hydra Den or whatever you need. And if you do not see anything to the likes of that, you can even get a Billionaires to deal with the Glaive Adepts or a Roach Warren in the early side of the game. So yeah, Overlord Speed is probably the best way to start approaching the matchup for the future weeks, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, scouting information for Zerg is going to be really important going forward.
There's a Void Ray here for Creator trying to deal some damage. A second one is gonna come shortly after with two Stargates. Creator really is gonna double it down on these Void Rays. Oh, wait a second, this is mass Void Rays. It's not like just a tad of Void Ray pressure. It's gonna double it down.
Yeah, and those Void Rays pretty much killed all these scouting overlords. So right now, Armani's in the dark. He doesn't know that it's two Stargate Void Ray build. And if Armani does not prepare against this really soon, it could get a bit ugly, because we do know how Void Rays are once they charge up, man.
Actually, Armani has scouted this.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Ah, okay. Must have been the Lings or something.
No, it was an Overlord with Overlord Speed coming in and basically instantly dying.
I see.
So popping out of Void Ray. But he did scout it.
Okay, so that's good for Armani. At least he scouts it. At least he has ample time to prepare for it.
It was a late scout. So I do agree with you that Armani is not in a good spot right now. He has an Hydra Den coming. Oh, it is so hard to deal with Void Rays whatsoever. A first target is also gonna come, because you basically cannot really counterattack in any meaningful way. You need to make a lot of queens. You need to drop tech very quickly, and you need to slow down your economy, because you need to drop down a lot of spore crawlers. And you know what, Armani, it's a little bit too careless again. He's gonna be rushing down into Hydras, a fourth base. But right now, what does he have? He has 5 queens, and how many spore crawlers? 4 spore crawlers? Yeah, okay, 1 Void Ray is very ready now. It is actually gonna fall. That's some bad control coming out of Creator. He's also gonna drop down 2 of the Spore Callers, but keeping these Void Rays alive is mandatory right now. These Hydras have been popping off just at the right moment, but this control by Creator over here was way better than the first one, saving 1 Void Ray with 1 health. And it's time for the Infestors to come into play.
And we see the kind of the Void Ray patch, how that kind of affected that fight, right? Because if it was the old patch, I mean, at least a second Void Ray would have died there. But because of the Void Ray speed, the extra Void Ray speed that was granted by the patch, was able to kind of save one of those Void Rays. Now he has a bunch of Void Rays. Let's see how many Void Rays does he has in total here. Looks like 10 Void Rays on the field for Creator, and he's not even stopping. He's got more coming out of those Stargates.
Yeah, last one upgrade for those Void Rays is also crazy good. They start pumping up crazy amounts of damage, and I want to see a Fleet Beacon being dropped for the Flux upgrade to get them even faster. But you know what? Armani is having quite a good answer to this. I would like him to get some more Infestors. Well, some quicker Infestors, more likely. He has got the energy upgrade, Pathogen Glands, I think it is called. Yeah, okay, here they come. 4 Infestors coming. Fungal is gonna be crazy important. And without Neural being a thing right here, getting good Fungals means sniping down at least 2 to 3 Void Rays, especially once Flux has been done by Creator. 14 Void Rays, oh my god.
Oh man. What era are we living in? Is this Wings of Liberty or something? I don't know.
Oh, I do hope not, to be honest. Void Rays are quite a nightmare of mine. I do struggle a lot against them.
Alright, looks
and
like...
it is weird, like, you're probably gonna think, oh, how did you reach Master and Diamond if you cannot deal with Void Rays? And the answer is, I do not know. So, let's see what Armani does. Of course, Infestors, as I was saying, is a very good way, but once Carriers become a thing, it's gonna become very hard for him. Oh, that's so many Void Rays. Spooky. That's spooky.
Alright, here we go. Some nice defense structures here. A lot of cannons and shield batteries to help defend against this. Ling's gonna go ahead and dive on here, but does not see any openings. And oh man, this is getting a pretty much a failed attack here by Armani, as Creator just defensed up like crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't really a good call by Armani overall. He just sacrifices a bunch of Hydras and Zerglings into nothingness. Of course, he's maxed out right now, but I would like him to rush some more tech. Yes, +2 attack right now, but more carriers are bound to show up very soon. And once he deals with those Void Rays, he needs to have something back home to deal with the carriers. That's gonna be the most important thing. These Infestors, yeah, you need those Fungals to go down. Okay, Fungals finally go down on a bunch of Void Rays. These are not gonna go down though. And with a Lurker then being made by Armani, this is looking like a very weird way to play this. A lot of Void Rays are trying to set up a surround on top of this. And look at this beautiful use of Microbial Shroud by Armani. I actually forgot about this spell from the Infestors. Beautiful, beautiful play by Armani over there. Another Microbial Shroud is gonna keep these Hydras safe. They're just not taking damage by the Void Rays. Fungal goes down. In the end, Armani's gonna take a very good engagement. But a bunch of Infestors have gone down, and he needs to go back into his base to lick his wounds. 20 probes have died with this, and our Creator can start a Mothership, more Void Rays, and start to make interceptors for these carriers. The tech is in favor of Creator, but Armani surely has the momentum right now.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna go ahead and not only get the Infestors for Microbial Shrouds, but also for Neuroparasite. And once he can narrow some of these carriers, maybe even some Void Rays, that's gonna be a pretty good fight here for Armani. But of course, does Creator has an observer? It looks like he's actually creating one, so that should at least help him during that to spot that infestor and just kill it before he makes too much use of that neuroparasite.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot. Creator is finding himself in another microbial shroud, goes on top of these Hydras. Hydras fighting back in a very good way, but with the mothership being up and Neural not still being done quite yet, Infestors could not get anywhere close.
All right, I think I would love to see Armani start getting into Viper because the
He has a
Protoss.
bunch, I think he has a couple, right?
Does he?
Yeah, he has a couple.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be really good because it's getting to a point where the Protoss air army is getting quite scary.
You know what I do not like right now? This Lurker then is not doing pretty much anything for Armani, while a Spire instead would have been so important. Of course, Lurkers are gonna be good way to counterattack, to keep Creator honest in a way. Oh, Parasitic Clouds going on top of these Void Rays, which are going to be recalled, but they're gonna be stuck in a bunch. Shield batteries, saving up so many Void Rays. But still, that was a very dangerous spot to be in. Hydras are counter-attacking right now with these Infestors, getting ready to Neural, dropping Microbial Shroud, no Neural ready to get on top of the Mothership, but these Hydras are fighting so well, so efficiently. Wait a second, is Microbial Shroud good?
I don't know. I think for the longest time, Zerg has not gone for it because it's been kind of viewed as not as good. But I mean, Armani right here is surely making a case for it.
And there are two Spires coming for Armani right now. And keeping Creator on 4 bases is going a long way. Because sooner or later, Creator is gonna run out of gas. He's already running out of minerals in the first 3 bases he has. While Armani is just safely expanding basically everywhere he wants. He's gonna be behind in army supply, but he has the mobile army. And he's gonna start to get those meaningful upgrades and meaningful tech structures he needs to set up a powerful army to just deal with Creator while building a bank. Just look at the resources. Right now, Armani has enough resources to make what I think is 30 Corruptors?
Oh man, that's a lot, a lot of corruptors there. But is it the correct one, the correct answer for this?
I mean,
There's a lot of void rays, you know, like.
I mean, it's only 7 of them in the end.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think also if he can do some parasitic bombs on them, they could definitely evaporate really quickly. I mean, it's gonna be difficult and hard to say. So far, he's making 12 on the production tab, so looks like he is gonna go ahead and add it to his army.
He's definitely looking for a trade right now. He wants to start fighting his opponent. He's maxed out. He's building up a meaningful bank. He's building a very good Spore Crawler forest. And abusing these acceleration zones, he can make his army even more mobile than the one of Creator, while Creator is just sitting in a little bit of a dead spot, trying to defend his base. But at the same time, he's just gonna have to cancel his outer base next to his main again. There is one Dark Templar.
Yeah, that base has been denied like 16 billion times. I swear that base is never going up.
I kind of didn't call Storm being done, but it's a good call by Creator. Storm is gonna be incredibly important, and this single Dark Templar is a brave one, diving in between so many Spore Crawlers to get a bunch of drones. Armani is gonna dive on top of the main army of Creator. He's gonna find it way too apart from the mothership though. Corruptors and parasitic bombs are destroying everything Creator has over here. Of course, Armani is gonna lose so many of his own units, but just look at the bank. Those are units he can easily replace. I still do not think this is the right call for Armani, but this is absolutely not game ending by any.
Yeah, he has a lot of resources which will help him replenish this, but the gas, he's got to be careful because the gas is getting low after that kind of that remax that's going to be happening soon. Right now, he hasn't actually quite committed to remaxing yet because he's kind of like gauging what army he should or what kind of units he should add to his army. Or I guess, yeah, it looks like he's actually waiting for the Great Aspire. Maybe some Broodlords.
Yeah, it is probably what is gonna happen. Is Lurkers Infestors the new Broodlords Infestors?
Uh, Possibly. I mean, Lurkers has been really good against Protoss so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zerg start going for Lurkers Infestors instead of Broodlords Infestors.
Broodlords still are gonna be the way to end the games, but as of now, like, our money is looking quite impenetrable. Like, I don't see many ways in which Creator can really get into the Zerg side of the map. This is gonna be, like, this game is gonna last at least 10 more minutes, guys. Probably even more. And Creator is quite the master at ultra late game Skytos. So I fear for our money a little, even though I feel like it's in a good spot. Like, these Corruptors over here, forcing a recall, it is a pretty good thing. I really do not know. Do you think Tempest would have been a good call here?
I'm not a fan. I feel like Tempest always takes so long to kill the units. But I mean, maybe if he can, because we haven't really seen use of that new Tempest upgrade, right? Where it has extra damage against buildings, so it can snipe the spore crawlers a bit faster. But yeah, I don't think we've seen enough of it. These players haven't had enough experience with it to see if it's actually good or not.
We see here our money and Creator kind of skirmishing each other. In the end, Creator is gonna take a very much better trade with these high Tempers, getting the feedbacks on top of the Tempest, getting crazy good storms on top of the Corruptors, and actually getting also one of the Vipers out of the question. There's an Ultra Cavern being dropped by Armani, as well as you were calling 6 Broodlords. But in the end, this is still a very weird spot to be in. Our money was floating 5k minerals before. Right now, Creator has gone past that. He's right now at 3k, and our money has spent 3k of his own minerals. So Creator is ahead in resources right now. This mothership is gonna go down, which is kind of okay for our money. It's not very good. And I feel like the only thing standing between Creator and actually just crushing our money is the Spore Crawler Forest. Tempests are gonna come, and the upgrades. The upgrade you were talking about is gonna be made as well to break that. And this is a good call from Creator. I'm gonna say it. I feel like this is a good call.
Yeah, because we know how disruptive these spore crawlers can be to the carriers interceptors. So with these Tempests, he can, well, first he can use them to snipe down the Broodlords. I think those are going to be the priority. And then after, if he cleans it up, the army, he can use them, the Tempests, to clean up the rest of these spore crawlers. But you know what? It's going to come down to engagement by both these players to make sure that they use their spells correctly. And oh man, here we go. Looks like the carrier is going to go ahead and try to get on top of these spore crawlers, but there's just so much. One
Deciding.
Yeah.
Too bad. Yeah, Creator probably chose the worst possible spot to try to dive his army. Of course, he was looking also to trade some of his stat supply. These Void Rays are not really doing too much for him right now. Once Tempests are out, he needs more supply for those. These are still two armies that have a very hard time clashing against each other. So many counters going on for both players. And these Lurkers are starting to look dead supply for our money instead. I don't really see a lot of use for them. We see a bunch of High Templars, yes, but those are mainly for feedback, and Lurkers cannot get in range of that.
Yeah, you might want to actually sack some of these. Looks like he's actually sacking some of these Hydralisks and Banelings, which is going to be pretty good. At least deny one of the bases. Although Creator is quite banking quite high in his resources, so losing this Nexus is not going to be too big of a deal for him.
Yeah, getting this base as the Zerg player though, that could be a very good thing because it's a very good spot to drop some Spore Coolers and just pin the Protoss down because he has the other side of the map. Like on this right side of the map, Creator cannot really do much. With Armani actually keeping these Broodlords ready for harassment and then sending them to the Spore Coolers, if Armani is able to take this base in the left side instead, the game gets in a very awful spot for Creator. So that will be a very interesting point of contention. Oh my god, Tempest deals so much damage. Oh, goodbye with Prism. Yeah, they're still... The Corruptors are still so quick at killing stuff that these trades are basically not gonna benefit anyone, really. Alright, lurking Hydras. What they're up to.
Looks like they're gonna go ahead and try to dive on it, but this is gonna be a lot of cannons. Actually, you know what? With the Banelings, maybe he might be able to break it though.
I don't think so. Oh, there's only 2 pilots doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just been stacking some death supply, and Creator is trying to take his base again. That's an important base, but Armani is also trying to set up a very awful spot for Creator to fight in. Acceleration Zone is in the favor of the Zerg player, who's also gonna lose a Viper for free though. I do really feel like Creator is getting the better of Armani every single engagement, but it really requires a little misstep for any of those 2 players to actually lose the game. Oh, Tempest getting on top of the Broodlords. Broodlords are falling down, trying to retreat on top of these Spore Coolers, but 3 of them are gonna die without getting anything. 7 probes at this stage of the game is absolutely non-existent damage. And here, 1 Lurker and 1 Hydra are trying to deny the leftmost space of Creator, which once again, as I was stressing before, is a very, very important piece of contention between the 2 players.
Unfortunately for Creator, he does not have an observer here with this with these DTs, so he can't really clean this up. Nexus will go down, unfortunately for him, but I mean he's still banking on a lot of resources. Although his gas count is getting quite low.
It's more about the strategic position, I feel, at this stage than the resources. Of course, the resources are gonna be important, but Creator kind of feels pretty safe resource-wise. I don't really feel like he needs that base for resources.
Yeah,
but
that's
getting
true.
like it is much harder for Creator to defend this than it is for money due to how what a storm.
That was some nice feedback and storming, but there's a Baneling counterattack here into the Nexus here at the bottom side. All these cannons are dispowered, but looks like he will at least get out with the majority of his probes. And right now he is dwindling away at this Zerg army with these Tempests. This is what he needs. He just needs to revelate these Zerg army and just snipe and poke in and out with these Tempests to clean up these Spore Callers.
It is starting to look very good for Creator just due to this buff to Protoss. Like, I remember the feedback buff, the range, so these Vipers cannot really get many abducts. In this case, there were good adapts, but the High Templars were way too behind. And then there's the Tempest buff to deal with the Spore Callers. It looks like finally we have a balanced late game between Zerg and Protoss.
Yeah, I think also the major change with the Vipers abducting the Colossus, or was it the Mothership? I forgot which one was it. Where it used to be able to abduct them, but wasn't not able to anymore. Or was that the Infestus Neuroparasite? I forgot. But anyhow, in the meantime, another Baneling run by will finally clean up this Nexus.
Wow. And we see Armani taking this base we were talking about before. this will be so game-changing for him. So game-changing. Being able to drop the Spore Crawlers here on this side, getting control of the left and right side of the map will be... It's hard to stress out how much important that will be. Right now, these Tempests are really causing a lot of trouble. Beautiful Storm again! Oh, wait a second, Armani, you do not want to go in there. And these Infestors have not been able to do anything for so long as of now. Oh, yeah, that is a very hard game to play as the third player. Oh my creator, this is exactly his natural habitat. Late game Skydos is what creator is best at, and he's really showing it in this game right now. Oh, Abduct's going on top of some of the Tempests, but so do the feedbacks on top of the Vipers. Both Vipers go down. That is devastating for Armani. And Creator, he probably doesn't know how much damage he has caused right now, because he can just dive this Zerg army and win the trade if he decides to do so. Spore Crawlers have been destroyed left and right. Armani goes for a desperate move, but his army is just melting to the carriers and the storms. Spore Crawlers are not anymore. Armani trying to counterattack with ultras on the bottom left, but Creator is relentlessly walking through the map. It is up to the two armies now, and Armani certainly does not have the better one.
Yeah, and you know what? Armani, he has absolutely no gas left. So all these Brood Lords, all these, you know, Corruptors, all these Infestors that he loses, it's going to be really hard to replenish. And Creator still has the huge bank, but there is a link contact here at the bottom side. That I don't see that doing too much damage, although it might clean up the rest of these cannons. But the main attack here is at the Zerg side of the map. There are still a lot of carriers and a lot of Void Rays left. It's looking quite scary and dangerous here, as Armani is slipping in supply.
This is another pretty much desperate move coming from Armani, remaking drones, probably just to remake Spore Crawlers and try to keep this last base safe. Spore Crawlers are everything he needs to survive, yes, but then again, he cannot replace the army, as you were saying. He needs that gas, but Creator still has so much bank. These Zerglings trying to get damage, they will never find that damage. Even Immortals are up right now for Creator to deal with him with the Lurkers. So I do not really see any way Armani can actually get back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the main base nibbling away, but I mean, it's just gateways, it's just pylons, it's nothing too important. He should be able to clean that up pretty easily. Now Creator is going to move here towards the south side. And
he's up Void Rays, so
yeah, that's a lot of Void Rays. That is a total of 9 Void Rays out into the field. And these Tempests are going to go ahead and shoot these fireballs away. These Tempest upgrades. I underestimated this Tempest upgrade. Apparently is a lot better than I thought.
They're just killing a Spore Crawler in 4 or 5 shots. Yeah, the Iron Abduct is going to come, but... sorry, Neuroparasite is going to come, but... I do have to say Armani wasn't really doing much with his Infestors. His Vipers died too quickly. Creator just played the better micro game. He was just better in microing. Even now, Armani is just trying to destroy all of the remaining bases of Creator. But if this base here on the left side of Armani falls, there's nothing standing between Creator and victory. And look at this Tempest. Look at the damage. Boom. Hatchery gone. Armani, no gas income basically left. And his army cannot really deal with the army of Creator. Yeah, that is a heartbreaking 3-0 victory from Creator for Armani, of course. But I do have to say, Creator really earned this. And it's just gonna be a little while before we get a GG, but trust me, a GG is gonna come from Armani.
Oh man. He is trying to desperately establish more bases to get his resource up and running, but it's a quite sad sight to see, as I mean, our creator is ahead 175 army supply to 102. And most of the Zerg army is not in the high tier units like Brood Lords or maybe Ultralists. There's a lot of Lings in it.
This Neuroparasite on top of One-Eye Templar storming all of these Skydas units was very, very cute. But in the end, like Dark Templars destroying the last remnants of our money economy. And you know what? I was thinking about a thing right now. Who do I think that can beat Creator in a late game Skytos scenario? And in my mind, only two players came. Those are Serral and TY. I think those are the only two players in the world that can beat Creator in this stage of the game. He's so clean with this Skytos army, with this engagement, with these careful trades that I don't really see a way any other player can beat him. And look at this, Armani going for the desperate attack move. And GG is gonna be called 3-0 victory from Creator. And boy, is this guy playing great today.
Yeah, I mean, considering Armani has been playing pretty good recently, to see that Creator, of course, pulling out one of those routine surprise wins and advances to the finals, and you will be able to have the opportunity to face against Solar and come out number one. But Solar, of course, will have something to say about that.
Of course. And that's a pretty interesting clash of styles between those two players as well. So it's going to be interesting to see.
All right. So looks like we're going to go ahead and get into the map vetoes between Solar and Creator. But before we get into our next series, let's go ahead and give a little bit of love to one of our amazing sponsors in Wicked Cuz. They are the makers of premium beef jerky, if you guys don't know. And let's go ahead and take a look at this little clip, this little ad, to see what Wicked Cuz is all about. And then right after that, we'll get started with our next series, the finals between Solar and Creator. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Our newest sponsor, Wicked Cuts, will blow out your taste buds with their premium craft jerky. And they have something for everyone. For naturalists, try their original peppered beef jerky or teriyaki turkey. Both are made with 100% natural ingredients and are gluten-free. Looking for something tender and mellow? Try the orange teriyaki beef and applewood bacon jerky, which are sure to hit your sweet spot. For the truly wicked, you can run the heat gauntlet, from sriracha-style bacon to volcanic jalapeno beef. If you can handle those, you might be ready to RIP into a bag of wicked hot Carolina Killer, spiced with Carolina Reaper, Scorpion, and Ghost Peppers. Not only are they sponsoring this tournament with quests, but they are offering a limited discount code of esports25 for 25% off for a short period of time. Go check out their products on Matrino's quests, and be sure to use the code esports25 at the checkout for that additional 25% off. Thank you, Wicked Cuts, for supporting our esports tournament and being the tender side of jerky.
All right, thank you, Captain Canuck. And we are back. But before we get into this next series, guys, just a reminder to drop us a follow if you would like, if you like the content of this channel. We have a lot of high quality events, such as the weekly Trovo, I guess the Trovo Weekly, and also the Alpha X series special that we usually cast on every Tuesday. So yeah, just give us we would love to have you guys join us and follow the channel. We are so close to leveling up. I think we need like a couple more follows as well. And also just another excuse me, just another reminder that there is a Matravino page for this event. I can see that we have garnered up some contributions, but we definitely could use some more. If you look at the kind of the top side of the chat area, there is a pinned message with the Matravino link, as well as the coupon code where you can use and contribute 50 cents for free to the prize pool and help out the players. I mean, these players are putting on some great games. They're playing on the newer maps. Let's show them a little bit of love by just giving them a bit of boost in the prize pool. And it doesn't take long. It's very easy. I'm sure most of you have heard of Maturino, and Maturino provides such a great tool for the esports community. And then also, if you want to contribute extra, you can also do the sponsor quests on the right side. And then if you want to also take it a little bit further, you can also buy the replay packs. All the replays for this tournament, this event, will be available to those who buy the replay pack, and then you can also help out the prize pool at the same time. So it's a win-win situation for everyone if you want to get the replays and as well as help the players out in terms of the prize pool.
Couldn't have said it better.
All right, looks like they are completing the map vetoes.
Yep. I do not have any idea about what the map order is. Everything was done in Korean, so it's gonna be a surprise. Every single map is gonna be a surprise. But we're gonna have some more Zerg versus Protoss. It's gonna be a very different Zerg versus Protoss, though, I feel. Solar and Armani are very different players, and I do feel like Armani wasn't really playing his best StarCraft today, while Solar was looking very fine. So, okay, Inu shed some light for us. It's gonna be Death Aura first, then Oxide, Light Shade, Submarine, Jagannatha, Pillars of Gold, and Romanticide. It's gonna be the order. If it's gonna take all 7 of the games, it's gonna be a best of 7. And we're gonna see who's your winner for this series.
Ooh, this is you know what? As impressive as Creator was in that last series, I mean, winning 3-0, in the PVZ, I still say Solar might give him a different series and will maybe take the win. I give the slight edge to Solar here, but I mean, if Creator does win, I wouldn't be surprised either. So, I mean, what's your prediction for this upcoming series?
So my brain is telling me something and my heart is telling me something else. My brain is telling me this is a best of 7. Creator has some good builds. Creator can win some games against Solar, but in a best of 7, you need to win 4 of them. And I do not think, my brain tells me that Creator doesn't have enough tools to win 4 games against Solar. My heart is telling me that Creator today has been looking insane, and he can even win 3 games in a row just going Skyros.
All right.
So I'm gonna follow my heart. I'm gonna say Creator is gonna win the series, but it's gonna be a close one.
All right, we shall see. We're going to go ahead and get started here on the first map of Death Aura. Why don't you go ahead and do the honors of introducing our first lovely player?
Of course, my friend, we're in the top left-hand side, where there is the Red Zerg player playing for Kaisi Gaming. It is Solar.
And here at the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss player from Generic Green Wings. I believe so, even though his tag says Team NV, unless I'm wrong. It is Creator.
Is he still on Gina Greenwich?
I believe so. I mean, I looked at the Wikipedia page, but I might have read it wrong. I'm not sure because this tag, it says Team NV, so maybe he's switched teams. I'm not sure. If someone in the chat knows, that would be great.
I do not really know, to be honest.
I saw Generic Green Wings on the Wikipedia page, but I'm not sure if it was. I mean, maybe he changed teams recently or something.
I think Wikipedia is right. Team NV looks like something new though, so who knows? Could be like something new that we do not know about.
Oh, hey, Sunlily has joined the channel. Welcome, Sunlily. If you guys don't know, she's our team's graphic designer.
Also, you gotta thank her for all the super good players of the week videos you can find on our Twitter page. All of them are very well done, very hypey and flashy. So make sure to check our Twitter page to see some of those crazy good plays of the week from some of the best players of the world.
Yeah, and I expect a lot of plays from our current running King of Battles KB International Tournament. There's a lot of stacked players in there, and I expect that there's going to be plenty of plays to choose from.
Definitely. All right, Creator, Stargate again, Death Aura, Stargate. That's a good duo. I like how he plays the map. We will see if he's gonna be as effective as he was against Armani, even against Solar. At this stage, it looks like Solar is gonna just play it quite safe, sending Zerglings in a very different position, seeing the seeing the Adepts, and then sending them back home again. Shades are gonna go into the main, trying to get a couple drones before getting away or even dying. It looks like the drones got a little bit of a surround on them. 3 drones are gonna die, but in the end, Solar is gonna deal with all of the Adepts.
Okay, the first Oracle will be incoming. I think the Sport Color should be up in time right before the Oracle does come in. So nice timing there by Solar.
The position of this Sport Color though, can do better. Solar. Yeah, he's moving in now, but he's gonna lose 4 drones, probably just due to a lack of good positioning. Too bad. Another shade comes from Creator, dealing with a bunch of Zerglings, not many of them though. While the Oracle is still looking for a good way right now, timing on top of Queens and barely getting out. But not even barely. You know, suffered a lot of damage.
Okay, Creator will finally take that 3rd base there. I was wondering because I felt like it should have been down by now, but
yeah,
I guess it was just a bit delayed by those lings.
Yeah, he made a late base even in the game versus Armani on the same exact build and the same exact position. But he made a lot of gateways by then. Right now he's playing a tad slower than I think he's supposed to play it. Since Solar is kind of just macroing right now. He's not really doing anything. Like his creep tumors, his creep spread is excellent. His tech is getting to a good stage, even he doesn't have a lair yet. He's gonna have a lot of roaches out. He doesn't really have a lot of workers after losing 7 to these oracles, so that is not great.
Yeah, he's managed to actually kill 14 workers throughout this whole game, which is insane, especially since Solar did prepare for it early on, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I wasn't really keeping count of drones, but I was right now looking at the work account, and I just felt like Solar was about to all in.
He is pulling the queens. He is going for it. I mean, this is it.
Yeah, Creator is setting up a good defense over here with a Void Ray as well to deal with the Roaches and maybe the Ravagers alike. There's a Stasis Ward next to the 3rd base. I don't really think like Solar is gonna get anywhere close to the 3rd. I think he wants to dive right into the natural, or maybe not. Yeah, he's going into the 3rd. Ooh. Okay, Void Ray is really starting to do some damage. Meanwhile, the Queens getting into the slow march. Okay, he's going in the natural. Good call from Solar. Trying to get into a good position with the Queens before engaging with the rest of the army. The Ravagers are keeping everything at bay right now. There are a bunch of shield batteries which are gonna be targeted down by the piles. The shield battery survives, even just barely. Meanwhile, these beautiful force fields are keeping the Zerglings out of range of these Immortals. Sabanade score is gonna go down as well as the shield battery. Shield battery overcharge goes on the other shield battery though. Meanwhile, the Queens have finally got into a good spot. Transfuses get used to keep the key units alive while the reinforcements are coming for Solar. The main armies are finally clashing, but the Bios are killing everything that's here to Creator. Shield battery is gone, Sabanade score gone, Gateway is gone as well, and right now, this single robotics facility is struggling to keep up with the reinforcement. Creator is making a lot of units though, is making a lot of saves on his units though, and right now with the Queens falling one after the other, it looks like Solar is not gonna be able to break through. There is one Void Ray surviving through all of these, and Oracles and Shades and, well, Adepts have been the clear heroes of this hold. Very well done by Creator, but once again, Solar over-eager to get into that position, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why he wanted to push. I mean, that map has the acceleration zone, so that kind of really helps for the transferring of the queens, the walking of the queens. But yeah, first of all, Creator getting 14 total drones in the early game slowed down that attack by a lot. And then also with the nice defensive posture that he has, I mean, he was creating those shield batteries, is laying down all those static stasis wards, and just a really nice defense there by Creator. And Solar unfortunately wasn't able to break through, and Creator will go ahead into game 2 with a 1-0 lead.
Solar just kind of put his head in the jaws of the beast. Like, there was one part of the army on Creator on one side, one part of the army of Creator on the other side, and Solar just kind of dived in between, of course, losing all of his units. So he kind of was over-eager. Once again, I said it was the right call to go into the natural, but you know what? I would have preferred him to dive on the outwards side, get into, oops, I declined by mistake, dive onto the natural and then turn around into the third. That would have been a good thing to do. But Solar was over-eager to get in the natural, end the game, and he didn't have enough.
Yeah, and Creator bought himself so much time because of that.
Yeah,
He was able to make an extra Immortal as well, and yeah, just had the nice concave on the Zerg army.
we had to restart this game. Solar once again queued with the wrong race. But yeah, it is like Solar style. Being over-eager is just his thing. Such a charismatic person.
Maybe he's like the Zerg version of Patience, because Patience always so eager to blink his stalkers forward.
Yeah. Let's get into introductions here on Oxide. One of the new maps, one of the cooler new maps as well. In the top right hand corner is the red Zerg player. Playing for Kaizi Gaming, it is Solar.
And spawning here at the bottom left is the blue Protoss player with an impressive game 1 victory. Can he make it 2 in a row? It is Creator. By the way, have you noticed like all our recent tournaments and events has suddenly adopted the new ladder maps, even though it hasn't even been out yet?
Yeah, true. Oh, I kind of like it. It's just these new maps are interesting. I really like them. I mean, not as a Zerg player, I hate them as a Zerg player, but they're very, very interesting in pro play overall because they add a lot of complexity, I feel. So I can't wait to see them on the bigger stages, but as of now, I'm very well content to see them on our stages, on our tournaments. And I feel like maybe if this becomes a tradition that we start with the new maps way earlier than everyone else, I would like it. I would like this to be a tradition.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like thinking like maybe our current map pool, like people have gotten tired of it, so we're starting with the newer maps a bit earlier. Because I mean, I think the season has been running for quite some time now, a few months, couple months. But you know what? The new maps, they are a bit more colorful as well. So I think it does help give the viewers a little bit of a color pop when they're watching the tournaments and casts.
Yeah, I rarely had this feeling that I enjoy a map pool more than many of the others that have come before. But when I do have this feeling, it always is a good season. It was like this when Automaton and Cerulean Fall were announced, and that was probably one of my favorite seasons ever of StarCraft. And I do feel kind of the same for this pool. This pool is has new maps that are quite simple in concept. There's nothing too crazy, too complicated. But as we've seen, like on Jagan Alpha, being a long map but not very wide, which is something that is not very common in StarCraft 2, makes up for some new complexity that is really welcome, at least for me.
Yeah, always love, kind of discovering the new layouts of the new maps, making sure, where all those cannon placements are, or
Sure.
those kind of those rocks areas where you can siege up your tanks, and all those cliff areas that you can siege up your liberators, all that shenanigans.
See, we are going for some Glaive Adepts build this time. We didn't see it against Armani. Finally see it against Solar. But you know what? Solar is not an easy player to kill with all lanes. He's a very good player at defense. Because he's a very good player at defense. So all laning him is a very hard feat. Right now, Solar doesn't really have that critical mass of units he needs to deal with the Shades. But he probably has way enough scouting information right now. Catching the Warp Prism, moving out with his Zerglings, suddenly, instantly, making 20 links back home. And that's exactly what he needs. No more, no less. With a Spine Crawler as well, gonna be even easier. Solar, I feel like he's in a good spot to deal with this.
Well, so far his setup looks pretty good. I mean, he has a lot of queens, a lot of links on the production tab as well. His Roach Warren is done, but so he can actually make, he can start making those roaches. I feel like this attack is gonna be countered pretty hard here, although there is still a lot of adepts. So, oh my god, this War Prism,
Oh, 9 health points. Gonna get away. Now, Glaive Adepts are gonna get a queen basically for free, but that was I call it a lucky save from Creator, because that wasn't really much more than that.
Oh man.
These Glaive Adepts are trying to get in position. This is a very hard map for Glaive Adepts to work, by the way. Oh, right now the Shade is probably gonna complete over here. Oh, actually not. Creator not gonna dive on top of Solar yet. It's probably gonna wait for some more units back home to be made to deal with any coming counter-attack. The Spine Crawler is gonna go down basically uncontestedly. There are 2 Roaches and a Ravagers here trying to deal with the Adepts. In the end, Creator is gonna try to go back home. There's a bunch of links waiting for the Shade, hiding before the Shade can complete. But Creator knows better. He's just gonna cancel it. And right now probably is gonna send a few of these Adepts into the main with the Warp Prism.
Yeah, so right now, after being shut down by the Zerg, he's gonna have to find some way to transition. Gonna get the 3rd base, gonna transition into Blink. We see a lot of Protoss transitioning into Blink just in case the Zerg did go for the Spire, and there's always that threat of mealless, and you definitely don't want to be caught with your pants down by mealless.
Keeping good scouting is gonna be a very important part of Creator's game plan. This Observer sieged up outside of the natural of Solar. He's gonna keep pretty good track about what Solar is up to. But right now the game basically didn't really move into a later stage yet. We see Creator being the player with the bigger army supply, being the one who needs to get some damage, and we see Solar just defending basically effortlessly, getting a 4th base, getting his stack being dropped, and once more Creator needs to cancel another Shade, because that Shade would have spelled disaster for him. Those Adepts will then not survive. And there's one golden rule in StarCraft 2. Once you make a unit, whichever kind of unit it is, you need to do something with it, especially if you do make an upgrade such as Blink, even Link Speed, Shade, Glaive Adepts, anything to the likes of it, you need to do something with it. Especially if it's any of those early kind of units such as Adepts. These Adepts are not going to be worth anything in 2 to 3 minutes from now. And Creator just has this window to do damage, and that's exactly what he's trying to do, but Solar has set up a very good counter attack and a very good surround if he decides to do for go for that. Oh, his Zerglings. Yeah, forget what I said. Solar suicided half his Zerglings for no reason. That was weird.
Seems like the game has calmed down a bit. I mean, look, Creator was trying to poke holes, seeing if there was any openings, but Solar, he's such a great defensive Zerg player that he was on top of everything. So right now, Creator's going to go ahead and retreat for the meantime, and looks like he's actually going to transition into Storm Tech with the charge lot, get the 4th base as well.
He's gonna be so late with that though.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem with making like Glaive and not getting anything with it. You just start to fall a little bit too behind. Solar doesn't have like devastating tech structures. It's just now dropping a Hydro damage. It's not like he's gonna be way ahead than his opponent. Nothing to the likes of it. But the more time it passes, the more I feel like Solar doesn't really have to do anything crazy. Right now, he's also have a Hive incoming. These Adepts into the main are starting to deal some damage. The kills are clamping up. A total of actually 12 workers have died. There is a little bit more than Solar probably would have wanted, but I still feel like he's in a better spot.
Well, it looks like the rock killings has begun. It's definitely going to help out as the game progresses. You definitely want to make sure you have all the open space that you can get, so you can get that surround that Zergs love to get. But in the meantime, yeah, he is getting that lurker den, and I think he's just buying himself time to get all the Hydralisks, get the upgrades. He is getting the Hive very soon, so he can get the fast lurker burrow upgrade, and that should help him during these engagement. But oh, looks like he's gonna get some of the units caught out here in the middle a little bit.
The game has slowed down quite a bunch, and you know, when games slow down, you see players such as Creator start to shine with that super late game units. But with the advantage that Solar has started to clamp up, also kind of just not allowing Creator to get a 4th base whatsoever, it is not gonna be easy for a player such as Creator to shine in his better stage of the game. Yeah, we see Lurkers being in a very good spot to deal with the Protoss army. I don't feel like Creator can break there anytime soon, with Ravagers being a thing as well. Sniping now the Observer, very good move by Solar. And right now Creator finding himself in a very bad spot. These Lurkers siege down a little bit too far away from the main action, but the Ravagers are still keeping everything so far away that Creator cannot really dive. He's now getting a 4th base in a very defensible position, and trying also to get a counterattack with these Zealots, but all of these moves are just trying to buy time for Stargates to be done and later stage units to become a thing for Creator. Right now Storm is the only thing that's keeping him into a good, arguably good position. Lurkers getting units into this choke point, not what Creator would have wanted. And right now, Solar is just trying to trade some of his roaches as well because he does not need them anymore.
Yeah, both players are pretty much max, so I think it's definitely the time where you want to start making sure you kind of free up some supply for the higher tier units. Although you want to make sure you have some bank before you want to do that. Creator doesn't really have that bank. Solar, on the other hand, he has somewhat. He's getting there, so he can afford to throw a few units here and there. But it looks like he's gonna go ahead and try to dive on top of what this base near this main base. And oh man, so many lurkers. Creator has no way to get on top of it.
That's very, very good for Solar right now. He has a Spire back home and a very healthy bank to replace the units he lost. So this attack over here is just gonna be a win-win situation for Solar. He gets damage, he frees up supply, and he has the tech up back home. Creator is trying to deal as much damage as possible, but these lurkers in this choke point, that's crazy hard to deal with. Choke points are so interesting in StarCraft 2 for Zerg and Terran alike, and right now Creator, with his army split in two different sides, cannot really get a good engagement on top of these lurkers. How many lurkers is this? 17? Gosh.
Jesus
This
Christ.
game is just gonna go down, uncontestedly.
Yeah, I mean, with 17 lurkers, you just can't. Oh my god, look at all the Protoss army evaporating in the blink of an eye. And what a horrible trade there by Creator. But you know what? He's got enough immortals to finally clean it up. But look at the bank of Solar. I mean, he can remax in a jiffy.
With higher tier units as well, he has a Spire. If he wants to drop some higher tech units, he can do that. And there is the accidentals were almost. Oh no, he cancelled it. Too bad.
You can never be a true Zerg without that accidental swarm host.
Jerry. The accidental.
Jerry.
Creator having lost his fourth base for the third time in a row. Not again. That's another cancel. Creator is absolutely only in on this. He cannot replace his army. He cannot tech better than this. He cannot make a fourth base. This guy cannot take a fourth without Solar killing it. And Solar, he has +3 coming. If Creator doesn't kill Solar now, he lost the game. He dives on top of the lurkers, and that's an awful idea for anyone who has some kind of way to get back into this game. But Creator clearly doesn't, and Solar wants to show him why. Diving with these lurkers on top of the main army, sending Hydras to hunt down the Warp Prism. Everything is falling apart for Creator. Solar just replacing his army effortlessly. He does not care. Immortals, even if Jackal, cannot do anything. This Warp Prism is in danger. There's nothing to save. Solar takes the tie in the series with a beautiful, beautiful macro game.
Yeah, I mean, Solar, just such a great defensive player, was able to shut down everything that Creator threw at him in the the early to mid game. And after that, Solar was just like high flying. I mean, he just like took all the bases. He start spreading creep everywhere, taking some really nice efficient trades and engagement with those lurkers. And after that, as much immortals that Creator had, just wasn't enough to break through that lurker line.
Yeah, like even taking inefficient trades was good enough for Solar to win the game. He had like 4 times the resources of his opponent. He forced another kill on the 4th base of Creator. Like, there was no way Creator could have got back into the game. Like, Solar could have taken probably 4 or 5 inefficient trades and still win this game. That's how ahead he was, to me. Yeah, Immortals shred lurkers if you have enough, and Immortals were trying to shred those lurkers, but even then, even after losing so many lurkers, even with so many units dying for Solar could just replace them. Creator could not. Creator just had probably a base and a half mining at that stage, while Solar had 3. So, yeah, it was a hard spot for him to be.
All right, here we go. Game number 3 on Lightshade.
Here in the top left-hand corner of this new map, where the Zerg player has spawned in the red color, playing for Kaisi Gaming, it is Solar.
And spawning here at the bottom right, the blue Protoss player from Generic Green Wings. Give it up for Creator. Still rocking that cute anime, cute girl anime little rotating deck out or some sort.
And still forcing Solar to take the third base instead of natural. I mean, Lightshade, there's like, you can read the name of this map and expect what build Creator is gonna have this game. Lightshade, Shade, that's Glade, cancel the natural. Yeah, that's gonna be Glade. The map is just way too short for anything else to make sense. Maybe a Robo makes sense. Some kind of Robo play, but I definitely do not expect the Stargate to come down here.
We shall see. As soon as that cybernetic core does finish, we will have some clue as to what Creator is going to go for. But in the meantime, like Solar on the other hand, this map is pretty wide open, so I would expect him to rely on maybe Lings a bit more here. Maybe even transition to kind of a muted game, because he's been playing more like a Roach heavy style, right, throughout this series so far. So I would love to see him like maybe kind of change it up, go for some Muleless.
It is very interesting. Like, if he's gonna go for Mutas and Creator goes for a Robo, it's gonna be basically a build order victory. Yeah, he's the Robo from Creator, which is like he played this kind of game against Armani, dropping the Robo, getting the disrupted drop, and getting the early Colossus into the all-in, which is a very strong way to play the matchup. But I do feel like this time Solar is gonna have way better scouting than Armani had before. And as you were saying, like the Spire could be something very much game-changing. It's also a very bold call though.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
mean,
not something easy to call.
yeah, I think he would probably have to scout, make sure he scout what Creator is going for. If he knew that Creator was going for Robo right now, he probably would have been more inept to throw down that Spire. But you know, this map is huge, and if you're not gonna get Overlord speed, it's quite hard.
Whoa, wait a second. Solar is sending drones, he's making only links.
Oh
Ouch.
man, I think Sunlily has her play of the week right now, potentially. Oh, but this probe is already parked here to throw. Oh man, what a brilliant defense here.
That's right on time for Creator, dropping the pylons right behind the wall to keep these drones from getting this run on top of the adepts. But these Zerglings are still getting so much damage so quickly. Warpgate was done right in time, but there is a little bit of a hole which was suddenly covered by Creator over here. More Zerglings are coming, more Zerglings trying to hack down the wall. This is not a very healthy wall right now. Pylons are going down on every single side. The wall has been replaced by Creator very quickly. The links are running short, but you know what? There's another wall. There's another hole in the wall being made by Solar, and right now Zerglings are fighting with the probes. Adept goes down, or maybe not. The Warp Prism will save it, but there's no way Creator can recover. Solar wins game number 3 of the series. The Zergling all in.
Oh my goodness.
What a collapse.
Yeah, I was surprised that Solar won that, because initially Creator had a nice little wall there. He had this probe parked there to immediately throw down the wall, to throw down the pylon to create that secondary wall, and he just didn't have enough gateways, and he was not making a mortal out of that robotics facility, so didn't have quite enough units to clean up the rest of the links.
It was looking good for Creator in the beginning, yes. but I still feel like this build is so powerful. Especially
Yeah.
like Nightshade is insanely short distance rush as map goes, so it was a very good map to go for this kind of build.
Yeah, especially on that map where the ramp area is quite large and there's not like a downhill ramp. It's like even level hill. So rushes like that, aggressive pushes are pretty strong on that map.
Mhm. Solar is gonna take the 2-1 advantage right now in the series, but there's still a long way to go before claiming the victory in these best of 7 finals. And Creator, even though he lost these last 2 games, is still looking kind of fine. Like he's looking strong anyway. We'll see.
Yeah, but this is a best of 7, so if Solar does win the next game, it's gonna be pretty tight because Creator doesn't want to be down to 1-3 against Solar. I mean, that means that he would have to win 3 straight games, and that's a tall order against someone with the caliber of Solar.
Indeed, especially since he's playing so good today. Talking about him spawning in the top left-hand corner here on Submarine is the Red Zerg player from Kaisi Gaming. It is Solar.
And spawning here at the bottom right, we got the blue Protoss player looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is Creator. Once again, blocking that second base on the natural.
Yeah, he's been very consistent at doing that. I mean, it's a good thing that really doesn't commit into anything. Like, you just send a probe out, you block the natural, and it's always good for you. It's always a good trade. I'm
Yeah,
actually surprised it wasn't common in the past few months. And it started becoming common like the last month.
yeah. I would also suggest Protoss players that are bad against holding off Zerg cheeses like fast hatchery or not fast hatchery, fast pool plays to maybe go for this because it also allows you to scout the fast pool as well as block the hatchery. Now there are some Zergs that kind of fake it, so they would throw down the fast pool, but then they would pretend to send a drone at the natural to take a hatchery, and so they kind of fake you out. Like so you're basically thinking as a Protoss like, oh, the Zerg is just going for a normal expand build, but nope, it's actually a fast pool cheese. So I mean, there's a lot of mind games that go into it.
It's also basically all up to memorize timing of stuff, when the archery should be dropped, when the spawning pool should be dropped, the health of the archery once you spot it, and stuff such as that. All of these goes a long way against cheese, stuff such as that.
Yeah.
So Creator going for a Stargate on Submarine. That's surprising.
Ooh. Now I wonder if it's going to be like the double Stargate Void Ray play that he pulled out in the previous series. I would love to see that once again because it worked out for him that game. I would love to see him replicate that and pull out another win.
It was a very special way to play the matchup. It's something very uncommon, very new, and also, as far as Creator goes, very effective. This is one of these players that just shine when they go for certain compositions, and Creator just shines when he plays Skytos. So I want to see him go for more Skytos. It looks like it's gonna be an Oracle first. Probably just gonna be something way more standard, probably triple Oracle into some kind of aggressive play. But then again, I'm looking for Void Ray. I'm looking forward for more aggressive Skytos play from Creator. Maybe even Tartally style. But who knows? Stargate is just the best way this guy plays the game, and I just want to see him do it more. Oh. Yeah, 3 drones got by this Oracle. Already a very good trade. And Solar's Overlord is gonna scout this Void Ray popping off the Stargate. What's gonna be the next unit? Twilight Council and 2 gateways?
Yeah, it looks like the Void Ray, the one Void Ray was just to clear out all the Overlords, and then he's gonna go ahead and either follow up with the Glaive Adept timing, or it's gonna be some sort of Archon drop or something.
There's a Stasis Ward in the fur base of Solar, not gonna get more than 1 single drone. And Solar is drawing out like crazy, he's dropping down a lair, he feels safe right now. That's not good for him, because Glaives Adepts are gonna come sooner than he's gonna expect probably. There's a Roach Warren incoming, which is gonna be... Okay, 20 links are coming, never mind, Solar is looking fine.
Oh my god, these Adepts are almost got surrounded.
Oh, the Void Ray was also in real danger to fall against those queens. But he got the Crypt Tumor and got away as well.
Man, anytime you can get any Adepts in the early game before the Glaive Adept timing push comes through, it's always a good thing for the Zerg. He might actually get cancelled on this if he does not warp in any additional Adepts. Although, actually, you know what? It's not quite as much links as I initially thought. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump into the natural. This is not quite looking efficient.
Nope, definitely not. Also, more Zerglings are actually going through the... Okay. That's a good scout by Solar, though.
Yeah, that is
exactly what is up right now. He sees these many shades going up. He has 12 roaches already coming from his own side of the map. That's perfect for him. Just when he needs them. Perfect scouting. Perfect answer. These shades are probably not gonna go doing much right now. Of course, they're still in a very good spot to commit, but roaches are gonna pop out of the main, and Zerglings are already there waiting for these shades to commit. The roaches are trying to follow the shades. Already a bunch of drones are falling left and right. 7 pros have died on the other side of the map. What are these roaches doing? They just stopped attacking, and so many drones are falling on both bases of Solar under attack. Oh, this is a little bit of a disaster for Solar, falling so much behind. It's being forced to go for a no-link shortly. 26 drones? That has dealt way more damage than it was supposed to. Of course, right now Creator doesn't have anything back home, basically. But he's just doubling down on the gateways. He has his third up. He has almost a 10 workers lead. And yeah, these Zerglings might do a lot of damage right now. There are 3 Adepts out. They're probably not gonna kill this base. They're just gonna get away. And Solar is replacing drones and is not exploiting in his army advantage because of the Void Ray, most likely.
It looks like Creator has decided to stop making any probes. It looks like he's gonna just go for a all-in right here after his War Prism pops out. But nice little delay here by Solar. But yeah, looks like Solar just needs to hold on. As long as he holds on to this attack, he should win the game.
Yeah, he replaced a lot of those lost drones. And he was clever enough not to go all in on top of Creator. Even being so much ahead in army supply, there was still that one pesky Void Ray that would have ruined his plans. And Solar, good counterattack. This Nexus is gonna go down. But as you were saying, all he needs to win this game is hold. He doesn't need to deal damage. He needs to not die right now. I want these Zerglings to go back home to defend and not go more on the offensive. Here comes a big engagement. Ravagers are gonna be caught outside of these force fields, trying to rain down piles on top of the army of Creator. Shades are not gonna commit, or maybe they are. They're committing on top of the drones. That leaves the main army of Creator well undefended. The Zerglings are gonna come on top of it. These Shades are going left and right between main and natural, getting more and more drones. But Solar is gonna be sending the last few roaches he had in these third base to deal with these adepts. And you know what? His army supply is getting through the roof right now, more than doubling the one of Creator. GG gets gold, and Solar goes to that so desired 3-1 advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, Solar just played that perfectly. Was able to counterattack with those links, clean up the dirt base, and then of course hold on. Majority of Creator's army was in those adepts. So
Yeah.
once he split those adepts from that from those his Sentry and Immortal, that was I would say that was a pretty bad call. I think he should have just kept them into a big Protoss ball, but unfortunately, either he forgot to cancel, or he did intentionally let the shade finish, and that was pretty much GG after that.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a bad scenario either way. Like, there was probably just too much Zerg to deal with at that point. And I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, and also, Kayuri in the chat saying he should have just macroed up, and I agree. I think Creator, after killing so
Same.
many drones, yeah, like you said, right? He should have just. I mean, he had such a worker lead. He was able to hold on to his dirt base. I think he just should have just macroed after that, and I think he would have been fine.
I agree. He had the third base behind it. Like, there was no way Solar was gonna end that game at that stage. He didn't have enough to kill his opponent, and there were 2 Immortals coming to stay even more on the defensive stage. And we see now how strong Creator is in the ultra late stage. So yeah, he should have just macro. That was the call.
Yeah, and Catharsis in the also says, it seems like Creator's weakness is his decision making, not technical play, and I agree, because I think most viewers or fans of his kind of like his I guess his technical and his micro and his mechanics, but it's the decision making that has really cost him a lot of series in the past, and I think that was kind of an example of that botched decision making.
Indeed. But he still has a chance. He needs to win 3 in a row. It's gonna be a titanic task for him to do, but still doable nonetheless. His opponent is here in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha, spawning as the Red Zerg. Playing for Kaizi Gaming, it is Solar.
And right here on the right top corner of the map is the blue Protoss player. He's gonna have to go for 3 straight wins if he has any chance of winning this event and this tournament. It is Creator.
He was looking so good against Armani, but then again, like, in a longer series, it is very hard for him to actually outperform a player such as Solar, and he's not being able to outsmart his opponent, which is probably the most important thing in this matchup.
Yeah,
This day and age, at least.
yeah, and also like you said before, like Solar and Armani has like different play styles, and so Creator's play style worked really well for Armani, but so far not quite as well against Solar. He's gonna have to change up a little bit. He's gonna go back to his strong suit, which is the Stargate play. I think that's his kind of bread and butter, so he feels safe with that, and hopefully it goes a bit better this time around.
Yeah, the map is also way better than Submarine for this style of play. So, as much as I like him going for his best play, of course, going for it on a map such as Submarine is not going to be as effective as doing it on a map such as Jagannatha. But on the other hand, Solar is just gonna safely macro it up because he knows there's no immediate threat for him. And we've seen how lethal can be Solar if he's left alone for too much time.
Creator does shade into the natural. We'll scout that there are a bunch of drones, so at the very least he doesn't have to worry too much about any aggressive play coming out of Solar. In the meantime, the Overlord does scout the Stargate, so Solar will be able to theoretically get all those anti-air into place before the Oracle does arrive into his base.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he's not gonna get too much with this Oracle. But of course, the first few bits of scouting information are still gonna be important. Not gonna get a single drone actually, not even gonna activate Buster Beam. But you know what? Second Oracle is incoming. Phoenix is gonna kill this Overlord. And I'm eager to see what Creator wants to do after this second Stargate. And I feel like this is gonna be some kind of must Phoenix game.
I think so too. And we know how I feel like this is a build that I'm surprised that not a lot of Protoss go for, because it could be pretty good, because you know, the first of all, the Queens has one less range from the few patches long ago, and then also the Hydralisk a couple of seasons ago did get a nerf, so they're not quite as good against Phoenix. So I was surprised. I'm just like surprised, like this is not like as common anymore, because I feel like once you
at all in this matchup,
yeah,
like everyone was doing this below there a little back.
yeah. I mean, if you can catch the Zerg off guard, like it doesn't get scouted, then it becomes really good. It gets a lot of Overlords. You can pick up those Queens as well. So very, very good to win unscouted.
It looks like Solar still doesn't really have an idea that this is coming, doesn't know about the second Stargate, he doesn't know there's more than one Phoenix. He really lacks the key information he needs for having a good answer to this. He's making a lot of links, trying to get as many pieces of information as possible. And you know what? Creator is faking a lot of adepts, maybe trying to trick Solar into thinking there's gonna be coming some glaives or anything to the likes of it, while Solar is gonna show us again one of these greatest play out of his playbook, which is the Nidus network being dropped. And it's gonna be a weird Nidus, because it's gonna be mainly Zerglings. Well, only Zerglings and a bunch of Queens, actually. He's also stopped droning, so yeah, this is weird.
Weird indeed.
I mean, now he sees there's a bunch of Phoenixes, and Phoenixes cannot really lift Zerglings, so it's not gonna be great to have these Phoenixes against Queens and Zerglings as of now. But yeah, okay, Nidus War is going into the main. That's not what you wanted to happen, Creator. Let one Overlord slip past him, and you know what? It is too late. This Nidus Worm is gonna go into the main while the rest of the army is attacking in the natural. A bunch of Zerglings are gonna pop off. There's another Nidus Worm going up into the main, and Zerglings are gonna deal with a Stalker and a Zealot easily. Meanwhile, in the natural, there are a bunch of Phoenix sitting there watching as those Zerglings destroy everything. Adepts are sitting in the third, not doing anything. These Phoenixes are sitting there in the air, not doing anything, and the Queens are destroying everything else, while another Nidus Worm is gonna kill so many workers into the main. These Queens are devastating right now. A lot of lifts are going up for these Phoenixes on top of the Queens, but it looks like right now Solar is gonna be epic with the damage he dealt. It's gonna be going back home. He's gonna be unmarkering his opponent, and he's gonna wait for a later stage in which he can kill Creator fair and square. But right now, it's time for those Phoenixes to fly out and find some more damage for the Burrows player.
It's going to be really important that he gets some decent amount of damage done, because he is way behind the workers. He suffered a lot of economic damage from that, and there's also a low amount of Hydralisk count so far. I mean, once those Hydralisks get high in numbers, those Phoenixes will get sniped down really fairly easily. So he's going to have to make use of these Phoenixes right now and get as much value as possible.
So I have a question for you. Do you think Solar went for the Nidus heavy Zergling kind of timing attack because he kind of knew Creator was going into Phoenixes? He called the Phoenix play and he decided to go for that because that's an insane counter to what Creator was doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't think he scouted the double Stargate. Yeah, and yeah, and I also think that this is one of the maps where Nidus play is actually pretty good to begin with. So he might have just went for it just blindly, and it worked out greatly for him. And now he's enjoying a really nice 142 supply lead compared to the 120 of Creator, and he's going to go for that second round, that second wave of attack. This time around, there is some stasis ward, and I think, oh, nice scout there. Solar does see them, and looks like he's going to go ahead and get on top of them.
Oh, that's a very good stasis ward over here. It's gonna get only 5 Hydras though. That's not great for Creator. Right now, another stasis ward is only gonna trap a bunch of Banelings, not many of them. Disruption Novas are gonna get very good actions. Actually, Solar not taking a very good engagement. Phoenixes are back right now to split this army of Solar even more apart. Right now, part of the army of Solar though is in the natural, dealing with the disruptors and the economy of Creator even more. Right now, more reinforcements are coming. Solar is sending units through the Nidus Worm, dropping one more Nidus Worm. The army of Creator is in real stress right now. These Phoenixes are not doing anything for the Pros player. Disruption Nova goes on top of the Queen. They're just gonna transfuse each other back to full health. Stasis Ward desperately trying to keep the army count of Solar low enough to get the trade, but right now there's nothing left between Solar and victory. GG gets called, and this is a 4-1 victory for the Zerg player. And once again, what a game from Solar.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was surprised that Creator might have had a chance to hold on with those disruptor shots, because there was some beautiful disruptor shots, but just didn't quite have enough at the end. And Solar will take a well-deserved 4-1 victory over Creator.
Production was just too lacking in that stage. He needed to replace a lot of lost probes. He then lost even more. He had those 2 robotics facilities trying to pump out units as fast as possible. But Hydras were just countering everything at that stage. Disruption Novas were good, but not good enough. Not enough value out of those disruptors. And then even splitting his army in basically 3 different positions. Solar still had enough. He still had enough reinforcements. And he still was way too ahead in production for Creator to actually have a hold.
Yeah. And yeah, so basically Solar will be our winner for today. And that pretty much does it. Hope you guys enjoyed the games. Remember, guys, to drop us a follow if you haven't yet. We would definitely love you to follow all the action that ITaX has to offer. Any last words before we wrap this up, Ancontistas?
Oh, I'm just gonna wait for you guys for next Tuesday to be here again. Drop a follow to have your notification ready when we're gonna start our next stream. Lots of content here. I'm just so happy to be a caster for this team that constantly offers so many incredibly high level games, and I hope I can show you some more of in the future.
All right, thank you into the new host hosting us now with a raid. Unfortunately, our stream is ending just as they are. But anyhow, thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you guys next week. Take care and stay healthy. All right, bye, guys.